changes. But what are those changes? Does that mean cuts now? Does that mean any trimming of benefits now? It's hard to pin them down on that, but they say absent some action by the House GOP and Senate, that those entitlement programs won't survive anyway. But yeah, I mean, that definitely gives the White House and Democrats the ability to point to it and say, your benefits may be in danger. And that definitely is something that connects with voters. And as we all know, the older voters tend to be the more engaged and the ones that actually show up on, the election day or leading up to it.
Yeah. I mean, you can change the funding formula somehow, I suppose. You could incrementally up the age eligibility for collecting Social Security and Medicare. I mean, 65 isn't what it used to be. There are lots and lots of people who can start collecting and then live another few decades, unlike in the past where it was more, generally at the end of your life where you'd get those benefits. Barack Obama has been back on the campaign trail. Doesn't seem to have lost much off his fastball. Seems like the same guy to me, pretty much.
He is fired up. He does. He seems like the guy who knew how to get out there and spin a story, spin a yarn, channel the emotions and the passion of the voters on his side. Now, is that just revving up the base? They already loved him and they already loved the message that they're getting. But can he get those younger voters out? Can he help bridge that enthusiasm gap that Democrats have in some of these key races? I mean, he definitely has a ton of passion and people listen and he gets the crowd going with him. So if that translates into getting people more fired up to turn out versus these people were going to vote with you anyway, but they were just going to stay home, it's a huge benefit to have him out there on these closing days.
I wonder if Barack Obama being back out there is in some ways a subconscious or not subconscious reminder of who Joe Biden used to be. He's obviously not the guy he was when he was vice president. And the comparison between Obama now and Biden now certainly isn't flattering. There's this George Will op-ed in the Washington Post, George Will, big, for decades, a sort of conservative thought leader. And he's begging Biden and Vice President Harris to drop out and not run in 2024 and risk more Donald Trump. He says that Biden, frankly, is past the point, not just past his prime, but past the point of adequacy. And he says that Harris is unqualified.
Yeah, it's a pretty brutal piece assessing the current Biden-Harris team from George Will's perspective. And he sort of ends the piece talking about, what one party's probably going to give you, the illusion there being Trump. So don't give us this rematch because it's just not going to be good for the country, he doesn't think, if it's a Biden-Trump rematch. And there's so much speculation about this, about whether former President Trump is going to announce his reelection in the next couple of weeks, depending on how well Republicans do on Tuesday night and when the dust settles from that. But yeah, I don't know. The country does not seem in polling very excited about a Biden-Trump rematch. But man, what a moment in history that would be if that's where we end up.
Look, if Democrats get their lunch eaten on Tuesday, you may hear Democrats who are talking privately or quietly about this Biden concern, and maybe maybe that snowball gets rolling a little faster and gets a little bit bigger. Now, President Biden gave this speech about what he calls threats to democracy. Apparently something he felt he had to do after the attack on Paul Pelosi and all the election deniers potentially being elected to Congress. He gave a speech like this in September. He talked about this kind of stuff when he was running in 2020. I don't know that it moves a needle for any votes, but it's something he felt he had to do.
Well, I think for many reasons. I think, to obviously decry what happened with Paul Pelosi, but I think he felt the need to do it because of the election. Also, I think this was kind of that rally the base, get folks out there. I was wondering as I watched the speech, who was the intended audience? Because I think a lot of the people who their top issue is being worried about political threats and the January 6th, fallout and the tragedy of that day. I think that people who that's first and foremost in their minds, they're already with President Biden. They're already going to vote with him. But when he talks about people he disagrees with being the ones who could end democracy in this country or put an end to this country, that's half the country that didn't necessarily vote for him, roughly. So I don't know if that message swings independents or brings over those extra folks.
Yeah. David Axelrod, Democratic strategist, he tweeted after the speech, essentially, look, it's a hugely important issue in the moment and appropriate for the president to address them. But as a matter of practical politics, he writes, I doubt many Democrats in marginal races are eager for him to be on TV tonight.
Yeah, and they've been very careful as to where they've deployed the president, knowing that there are, troubles with his approval numbers and policies, and our polling all across the spectrum shows that people blame the White House and this president directly for how they're doing economically, and they feel like they're struggling. So, yeah, I don't know that was their best closing message. There was nothing hopeful about it. There was nothing about here's how we lead the country forward. It was more, everything is over if you vote for Republicans, the end. And listen, I think that we know fear will drive people to polls. Negative advertisements drive people to polls. But at the end of the day, people have heard all of that. I think at this point, a closing argument maybe on how you're going to turn around the economy or the bright spots that we've seen to show that maybe your policies and your legislation are working, seems like maybe that would have been a better use of the time.
Shannon Bream, host of Fox News Sunday. Always good to talk to you.
You too. Have a great week.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and newstalkstl.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 844-94-BIBLE. That's 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Income may be subject to state, local, or federal alternative minimum tax. When interest rates rise, prices fall. When interest rates fall, prices rise.
Did you know that municipal bonds are a way for investors to support civil projects while earning federally tax-free income? The Golden Gate Bridge, the tallest bridge in the U.S., was financed with municipal bonds. Are you looking to bridge the gap between the income of your working years and the income needed in retirement? Municipal bonds might provide the solution you're looking for. Henyon & Walsh is a leading specialist in tax-free municipal bonds and has provided investors with quality service and personal attention since 1990. Call now to receive their informative bond guide absolutely free. Dial 1-800-833-9833 to learn how to earn retirement income while keeping your taxes at bay. Just dial 1-800-833-9833 for a copy of their informative bond guide for free. No cost, no obligation. 1-800-833-9833. Henyon & Walsh, Inc., member of FINRA, SIPC.
Columbo and Katie.
Gabe Pfeiffer joins me on Friday, and we'll talk to Florissant Mayor Tim Lowry, get the weekend forecast from Steve Tippleton, and have a little Friday fun time with Brian Stoll from your St. Louis Battlehawks.
Weekdays at 2 on Newstalk STL.
In St. Charles District 105, there's one clear choice for state representative. Adam Schwadron has fought hard to punish porch pirates, cut taxes, keep our elections safe, and secure and protect personal property rights. Next year, Adam Schwadron will work to remove Soros-funded prosecutors that are refusing to do their jobs and jeopardizing our safety. On November 8th in St. Charles, vote for Republican Adam Schwadron for state representative.
Paid for by Citizens for Schwadron. Mike Summers, CPA, Treasurer.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link, owner of the Dental Link. You've heard ads about teeth in a day, but did you know that you will be chewing on plastic, acrylic teeth? Here at the Dental Link, we can give you porcelain crown and bridge teeth utilizing mini dental implants that function much more like real teeth at about half the cost. Plus, mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Give us a call at 314-794-6464 or simply visit us today at thedentallink.com.
Hey, Tim Jones here for Rockwood Charcoal. If you love to grill as much as I do, I'm sure you prefer using charcoal over gas. Ever since I met Jonathan Heslop and he introduced me to his product, Rockwood Lump Charcoal, we're not using anything else. Rockwood's made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory and can be found in stores all across the country. It's the nationally highest consumer-ranked charcoal there is, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business right from my hometown of Eureka. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Open enrollment for anyone covered by Affordable Care Act is now open through January 15th.
So now is the time to act.
Hi, this is Mike Butts with MB Health Insurance Agency. And regardless if you are new or renewing your health insurance, the process can be confusing and very time-consuming. MB Health is local here in St. Louis, and we will handle your enrollment quickly, properly, and effectively.
Call Mike Butts and his expert team at 314-544-5400
Or visit mbhealth.com.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Come join the conversation.
Enable our Alexa skill. Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Always streaming at newstalkstl.com or on your radio at 1019, 94.1, and 99.1 HD3. News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion. Welcome home.
Candidate in his fight for the Senate seat.
I'm trying to show people what a new breed of politician looks like. I know it's going to be hard, but damn it, this is important.
Tucker Carlson Originals, The Candidate, Blake Masters. Streaming now exclusively on Fox Nation. Sign up at foxnation.com.
Now, a look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Friday, November 4th, and this is the Fox News Rundown. The husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi, is now out of a hospital. His release following last week's hammer attack during a home invasion. Paul Pelosi suffering a fractured skull as he and the intruder, David DePappy, struggled over a hammer. Police saying DePappy was looking for Speaker Pelosi, but she was not home at the time. President Biden starting a Western swing in New Mexico on Thursday, discussing his plan to provide student loan debt relief.
President Biden says in these inflationary times, up to $20,000 in relief from student loans can be a game changer for families.
Life-changing for their families and for them.
The president says the Department of Education is days away from forgiving student loans for millions, but he is aware of the GOP naysayers.
Doing everything they can, including taking us to court to deny the relief.
Even as the president says some Republicans have availed themselves of it. Right now, an appeals court has put the program on hold, but people can still sign up. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Former President Trump was in Iowa Thursday talking about crime.
And we're going to make America great again. We first have to make America safe again. You can't walk down a sidewalk in Chicago, get hit over the head with a baseball bat from behind and say, gee, we live in a wonderful place.
He captured over 51 and 53% of the vote in Iowa in his two White House campaigns. Meantime, the legal problems continue for the 45th president. A Manhattan judge saying he'll appoint an independent monitor for former President Trump's real estate empire, limiting his company's ability to freely make deals, sell assets, and change its corporate structure. That move following an accusation by New York Attorney General Letitia James accusing the company of misleading banks. Today is an important deadline for the former president and the January 6th committee.
The committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol has asked former President Trump to turn over important documents in response to a subpoena today. The committee voted unanimously back in October to subpoena the former president. Republican Wyoming Congresswoman and committee vice chair Liz Cheney said this week during an event in Cleveland that testimony with former President Trump would be under oath and potentially over multiple days.
I think that he has a legal obligation to testify, but that doesn't always carry weight with Donald Trump.
That courtesy of the City Club of Cleveland. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Twitter will begin alerting employees by email about whether or not they'll be laid off. That according to a company email sent to staff members on Thursday. Twitter is saying in that email its offices will be temporarily closed and all badge access will be suspended when layoffs start on Friday morning. Twitter was recently purchased by Elon Musk. I'm Paul Stevens on the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and newstalkstl.com. Free speech is alive and well in America.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Right here.
The country is heading in the wrong direction under this president.
We're suffering shortages. America's running out of everything.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Hi, this is Councilman Mark Harder, running for St. Louis County Council, representing West St. Louis County. I want your vote to make sure county government does what it is supposed to do and doesn't do what it's not allowed to do. I want to ensure your maximum personal liberty as a county resident. I want to continue to be your voice in West St. Louis County. On November 8th, re-elect me, Mark Harder. Vote smarter, vote harder.
Paid for by citizens to elect Mark Harder. Chuck McCluskey, Treasurer.
Hey guys, Columbo here, reminding you that if you belong to an organization like a school or a church, or your kids are part of a group or a sports team that needs to raise money, there's no better way to do so than with a TJ's Pizza fundraiser. TJ's Pizza has been helping local organizations raise money for over 30 years to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. A local company helping local people, and there's lots of different ways TJ's can help you raise big money fast. Get started now at tjspizza.com.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
I'm Ryan Higgins, and I approve this message. Our state needs fresh faces in government. That's why I'm running for state representative, to support and fully fund law enforcement and to give parents a bigger voice in their son and daughter's education. Also, as the son of a small business owner, I will make protecting small business a priority. Finally, and certainly not lastly, I will fight for our middle class that has been hit so hard the past 2 years. I know our future is bright, but the time is now to elect common sense candidates. I'm Ryan Higgins, and I'm running for the state representative from Missouri's 98th House District.
Paid for by Higgins from Missouri. Megan Higgins, Treasurer.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
We need change in our country right now.
Live and local.
They clubbed us over the head for 2 years.
Yep. You want corruption? This is how we get corruption.
This is News Talk STL.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, many timeshare owners are very upset because their yearly dues have nearly doubled. Well, Lone Star will guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. With their A-plus rating at the Better Business Bureau, clients know that Lone Star Transfer is a company you can trust. For a free consultation, please go to LoneStarTransfer.com or call 855-551-7066. On this Friday, CBS News has always had a liberal bent, which they kept under control under Walter Cronkite. Years later, when I worked there, Dan Rather was the power. He and his Texas pal Bob Schieffer are both ardent leftists, but they did practice some discretion in the hard news arena. Now the culture at CBS across the board is totally left. As I said yesterday in this space, that doesn't matter as much anymore because the news audience is down. The influence factor is lower. Nevertheless, interesting things do happen. This week, CBS morning anchor Tony Dokapil, a proud liberal, confronted Republican Senator Tom Cotton with the left-wing belief that Donald Trump and his supporters directly caused the Pelosi attack in San Francisco. Absurd, but that crew believes it. Now, Senator Cotton shut him down quickly by pointing out that Senator Chuck Schumer publicly said that Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, quote, wouldn't know what hit him if Kavanaugh ruled against Schumer's beliefs. Of course, a man is now in custody after being found with a gun outside Kavanaugh's Virginia home. So the question is, will Tony D learn anything from the smackdown he got? Not likely. Back after this. No question, there is a concerted effort to intimidate and silence conservative thinkers and replace our God-given individual liberty with big government controls. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization in America. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits and all kinds of great content. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the NewstalkSTL Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. Another really mild to warm day for Friday, and windy too. Low of 63 and a high of 80. The record is 82 from 1978. Close to the record, and the winds really start cranking Friday night into Saturday morning. Gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Want to tie down those loose objects Friday night before you head to bed. This is going to come with some rain Friday night, overnight, and early Saturday. Rain moves out for Saturday afternoon with a high of 62, a cooler, breezy day. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
News, analysis, opinion. Complete Decision 22 election night coverage beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. Let's get the conversation started, St. Louis. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
We all know the economy is in bad shape right now. Whether we are in a recession or not, well, that's up for debate. Most economists are saying no, but we're teetering close to it. The bottom line is what's happening affects your savings, affects your investment, affects your ability to meet a household budget. It affects everything. And now we have the Federal Reserve raising the interest rates again and just flat out telling us they are going to do more interest rate increases. What does that mean to you? I'm Mike Ferguson. Good morning. Happy Friday. We talked to our friend and resident expert, Eric Robert from Stifel Financial, about just that. Here's what he had to say, and this can really help you with your future planning. The first challenge is trying to not be pretentious on my part, because I'm not the expert that you are on this, and explaining what this means to everybody, because a lot of people hear 0.75%. Yeah, big deal. That's not a big deal. But this affects a lot of other areas, especially if you've got maybe a variable interest rate on some kind of loan or credit card or something, right?
If you have mortgages with a variable interest rate, credit cards, certain consumer loans, those are all being directly impacted by these rate increases. And boy, if you hadn't noticed it yet in your payment, you likely are going to now or shortly. Likewise, though, for savers, it makes a big difference. You know, you're for the first time in decades now, we're seeing cash money markets pay interest rates in the 3% range, 3.5% range. And that's a really nice change of pace for a lot of people. So it's not all bad news with rate increases. But boy, if there's one lesson we got yesterday, it's that this is not over yet.
Good morning, Eric. Gabe Pfeiffer here. A lot of people, a lot of economic laymen are wondering why rate hikes? Why is this the go-to strategy from the Fed in order to combat inflation?
Great question, Gabe. So, Chair Powell spoke to this early in this tightening cycle. And the reason why is it goes back to that old adage, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Well, as far as the Fed's concerned, when they're trying to tighten monetary policy, when they're trying to lessen inflation in the economy, the most effective but also most blunt tool that they have available is increasing the Fed funds rate. And history tells us that you don't see inflation come down on a permanent basis until that Fed funds rate, which is the interest rate the Federal Reserve controls, goes above the inflation level.
Good morning, Eric. This is Ken. Real quick, are we in a recession?
It doesn't appear to be that we're in a recession today. Are we headed into a recession? That's, certainly I don't have a crystal ball, but it would not be a surprise at all to see that as a result of the Fed's actions coming up. Chair Powell came out yesterday and he said, just in case anybody's confused, we are not done We are not pausing. That was a word that some other FOMC members had brought in prior to this Fed announcement. And it was clear that Chair Powell was trying to push back on that because while we're not currently in a recession, third quarter GDP was a solid 2.8% right now. Fourth quarter numbers are not looking negative at a minimum. To get the Fed to push interest rates up above the current inflation level, that's looking like a Fed funds rate that's somewhere up in the 5% range, maybe even higher than that. And that's still a world of difference from where we are now with a target range between 3.75 and 4%.
So in layman's terms, Eric, are we looking at kind of a circular chasing the economic tail where we've got increased in federal or increase in the interest rates is trying to chase and catch and slow down the inflation, which is affected by other things. So we've got one area getting more expensive in order to try to gain control of a bigger area that's causing increased costs for all of us.
Sure, that's certainly one way you can put it. I mean, at the end of the day, the inflation is still and has always been caused by the $5 trillion that was printed between Congress and the Fed over the last several years. M2 growth, which is the growth in the money supply, has basically slowed to a standstill over the last year, largely as a result of these rate increases. That is having the impact that we want it to on inflation. But monetary policy, which is what the Fed is doing by increasing interest rates, it takes months to work its way through the economy. Not days, not weeks, but months. So the economy is really just now starting to fully incorporate the impact of the rates that took place back in June and July. The most important thing that we saw yesterday from Chairman Powell was a new sentence in the Fed statement that said, in determining the pace of future increases in the target range, the committee will take into account the cumulative tightening of monetary policy and the lags with which monetary policy affects economic activity and inflation. Said another way, they didn't formally come out and say that this is the last 75 basis point hike, but they're coming out and saying, don't expect all future rate hikes to be at this level, but also don't expect us to stop increasing rates. That's the point that's really taking to markets today.
Eric, a lot of people have responded to inflation by taking another look at their budgets, cutting here and cutting there where they need to. How should they be responding in their personal finances to these rate hikes?
Well, you hit the nail on the head there, Gabe. Look at your budget. Look at what you can cut. You can't negotiate on some things. Food, energy, those are things that we have to deal with. And the potential for higher energy prices over the winter with natural gas prices being higher globally are all things that we need to accommodate. So I'll tell you what I'm looking at. All these streaming services and subscription plans that somehow made it into, hundreds of millions of Americans' budgets over the course of the pandemic. Try canceling half of them and see if you notice after a month. And then just don't sign back up if you didn't need them. It's way easier to work out of some of those sort of plans, and you can always get back into them if you need to.
Hey, Eric, they're having a red alert on the East Coast with regard to energy. How is that going to impact, do you think, the inflation?
So that's a tricky one. We break out inflation numbers between what we call the headline number, which includes things like food and energy, from the core numbers, which exclude food and energy. What's going on with energy prices right now absolutely has a lot to do with printing too much money over the last few years, but it also has to do with fundamental policy issues, the restriction of supply here in the U.S. market, global disruptions due to the war in Ukraine. It's going to be a rocky ride for a while, regardless of what happens with the core inflation number. You just don't see any signs of the energy price situation changing in the short term.
This is Eric Robert from Stifel. Eric, when you look at I'm going to follow up on the lag time aspect of this. The Federal Reserve, you just mentioned, they're saying, hey, other rate increases are happening. They're going to happen. So we've been told basically plan for it. But even if the policy were to change, if the elections go certain ways, even if it were to change, what's the best case scenario we can hope for as far as inflation coming back down and these rate increases having an effect on this? Because we're just, so many people are hurting so bad from the inflationary pressures right now.
Mike, I shudder to say this, but you're looking at the best case scenario right now. And that's not to say we're going to stay on that track. But as of right now, it does not appear that the U.S. economy is actively in a recession. We have not seen the labor market disjoint where you're seeing a move up in unemployment. But at the same time, we brought the inflation rate, the forward inflation rate, down from about an 8 to 9% level earlier in this year, all the way down to a 4 to 5% level. A really important test for markets in the coming months, and that didn't get addressed yesterday with the Fed's announcement, is how committed is this Federal Reserve to not just getting inflation back down to, say, 3 to 4% or even 3.5%, but all the way back down to 2%, which has been our historical run rate for inflation. If they're truly committed to getting it all the way back down to 2%, which is probably the right medicine long term for the economy, it gets increasingly hard to see how they do that without a real risk of a recession. If they're willing to settle at something like a 3.5% inflation rate in the medium term, working toward that 2% over the long term, we might get through this without a true recession involved. But also, you have to keep in mind for listeners, the recession is essentially priced into a lot of the market action we've seen this year. Equity markets especially are forward-looking. So we're expecting earnings to fall from here. We're expecting economic activity to fall, even if it doesn't fall into a full contraction. And that's kind of how the table is set here for the next 6 months. Okay,
one last question. We're visiting with Eric Stiefel. By the way, you can hear his radio show On the Money every Saturday at 9 o'clock right here on News Talk STL. Eric, my wife and I made the mistake of looking at the updates on our investments and her retirement plans and things like that. Things are looking way down for a lot of people, whether it's a 401k or other investments. What do investors need to keep in mind right now as we're looking at all of these changes in inflation and a reduction in value of our investment plans?
Yeah. So we talk about having a long-term view whenever we're dealing with our financial planning clients, and that's incredibly important in a market environment like this. But it's not good enough just to kind of put your head in the sand and say, well, I've got a long-term view, so I'm going to hold on and hope it all works out. You have to know what you own in a market like this. This isn't a 0% interest rate environment where you might have purchased a bad company, but then got bailed out essentially by low interest rates that allowed the price to go up due to an expansion in earnings multiples. So knowing what you own, staying with high quality investments are all critical things. Other things, if you aren't, if you're not sure what you own or you're not sure how to respond to this market, getting some professional guidance is critical if you feel like you're out of depth in this market.
All right. The show is On the Money with Bob Stockdale. And of course, Eric, you're on there as well. Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. How do people get in touch? Probably a lot of people have a lot of questions right now, Eric.
We've been getting a lot of calls this year. Clearpathinvesting.com.
Friday edition of the News Roundup is coming your way in just over 4 minutes right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
St. Louis's home of Decision 2022. Complete election results, analysis, and opinion. Beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. Let's get the day started right. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Friday will be 4 days before the election. We'll check in with Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft and find out any last-minute news we need to know before the election.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Plain talk from our true constitutional conservative voice, Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
We have to stop the crazy liberal agenda of defunding the police. We need more support for law enforcement. Give them the tools to stop violent crime, illegal immigration, and the cartels from flooding our state with their illegal drugs.
Mary Elizabeth Coleman opposes all taxpayer funding for illegal immigrants and will fight to cut state funding to cities that give sanctuary to illegal immigrants.
Biden's open border policy has brought fentanyl to our neighborhoods. Thousands of Missourians are dying as a result. Missouri should join the other states and send our National Guard troops to the border if that's what it takes to keep our families safe.
True constitutional conservative Mary Elizabeth Coleman supports a Parent's Bill of Rights, is pro-jobs, A-rated by the NRA, and the only one in this state Senate race endorsed by Missouri Right to Life. Paid for by friends of Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
The Range St. Louis West is Missouri's best indoor shooting range. With 20 climate-controlled lanes, over 70 firearms available to rent, and the best staff in the business, you're guaranteed to enjoy every minute of your time with us. Our impressive showroom is full of the latest and greatest offerings from the best manufacturers in the business. Need an optic, spare magazines, holster, or any other accessory? Let our professional staff help you find exactly what you need and get it installed for you. Mention you heard us on NewstalkSTL and save $100 on your membership and enjoy even more goodies. The Range St. Louis West. Are you ready?
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Senator Jim Talent. We live in an age where saying common sense things is considered to be controversial or even revolutionary. Like, we need oil and gas. Yeah, I think we do. Or maybe we shouldn't shut down the schools. Maybe it's not a really great idea when troubled teenagers come in and just to rush to pump them full of drugs.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30.
On News Talk STL.
Are you looking for the cheapest prices on car insurance? Then call the Cheap Car Insurance Hotline right now. Hey, you're guaranteed to save money on your car insurance. Most car insurances can be canceled at any time. That means if you find a better deal, you can switch right away. We're not just one company. We offer most of the major brands of car insurance. We're like a discount supermarket for car insurance. And it doesn't matter if you have a good record or a bad driving record. Our agents are experts at finding you the right car insurance for your needs. Our average customer saves hundreds of dollars a year when they call us to switch. So why don't you make this 100% free call right now and see how much you can save on your car insurance? Paid for by AIS Insurance.
800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. 800-721-5741. That's 800-721-5741.
This is News Talk STL.
News, analysis, and opinion from the voices you know and trust.
News Talk STL at 1019, 941, and newstalkstl.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
I'm drinking the coffee for you, by the way.
Okay, yeah, you're kind of loaded up there.
Yeah.
Man, you are highly caffeinated.
Yes.
Maybe
very much so.
Ultra mega caffeinated.
Yeah, I think
today.
so.
There it is.
Or mega ultra mega.
Did you not get any sleep last night?
Yeah, I did.
Did you? Okay.
I actually did. Well, for the first time this week.
You're not tonight. Let's put it that way.
I know.
All right. A lot of stuff going on here. I know that it's always, cliche. We put the phone number in every segment coming back from an information break, but use it today. A lot of stuff just to talk about. In case you haven't heard, there are elections coming up on Tuesday. Yeah, last weekend before the midterms. We're going to get into the last-minute push for your vote that's going to happen at all levels of the ballot. One of the most basic things I just want to know, how fired up are you, or are you ready just to get this election over with? Because there are people with both perspectives on that, I think.
Oh, yeah, I think there's always a level of, what do they call it, just hangover almost.
Oh, yeah.
After an election, or even right before it, but you got to do it. I mean, everybody has to vote. Everybody listening right now has to vote. You've got to get out there no matter what. No excuses, seriously. This is the worst one. This is the most important one.
Yeah, so regardless of which election or candidate or issue you're fired up about, we're going to talk about it today, and I want to get your perspective. I really want to hear a lot from St. Louis today. Also, let's see here. Missouri Democratic lawmakers, in their latest cry for attention, they are demanding gun control legislation in 2023, demanding that it happen. They sent a strongly worded letter and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So they
They mean it. They're
totally mean it.
not messing around.
Yeah, take heed, Republican supermajority. All right, let's see here. Also coming up today, the Blues are... let's talk about something else. Boy, did one of the Views hosts say something really stupid, and so did an MSNBC guest. I've got the audio from both. Spoiler alert here, world's about to end because Republicans might win.
Yep.
We're going to get to that.
That's across the board, too, yes.
Oh, yeah, precisely. All right, start off with the campaign season here, the last-minute campaigning. If you thought it was busy, now it's about to pick up with party leaders and the big guns crisscrossing the country to help out, very specific candidates and races they think are really close. Fox News' Jessica Rosenthal has the story.
Former President Trump is heading to Pennsylvania Saturday to campaign with Republican Senate candidate Dr. Oz and candidate for Governor Doug Mastriano. Then he'll head to Ohio, where polls show a tight race between the Democratic Senate candidate Tim Ryan and Republican J.D. Vance. Vance told the Fox News Rundown podcast last month,
Donald Trump was supposed to lose to Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump was supposed to lose to Joe Biden. Of course, he won. So I'm highly skeptical of the media narrative that this race is super close.
While President Biden has gone to Florida and New Mexico, former President Obama's been campaigning in Georgia, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Both will be in Pennsylvania this weekend as well to boost Senate candidate John Fetterman and Josh Shapiro for governor. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
So many different campaigns to talk about. Hey, you heard about that guy who threatened to assassinate Illinois gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey, right? You heard that in the news?
No.
You didn't?
No, not at all.
You didn't hear about that in the news?
No.
Oh, yeah, that happened.
When?
Okay, so here's what happened is a 21-year-old man named Scott Lennox called Darren Bailey's office, left a voicemail threatening to, and I'm quoting here, skin Darren Bailey alive, making sure he is still alive, and I'm going to feed his something family to him as he is alive and screaming in something pain. So he has been arrested. He has been charged with multiple crimes and will likely, obviously, have to either plead guilty or will probably be convicted. It happened apparently after he saw an ad for Darren Bailey while he was drinking in a bar, got into an argument with some people in the bar, and then called and made the assassination threat against Darren Bailey, and he was subsequently arrested. So,
Well,
you didn't see that all over the news?
No, I didn't see it at all, but
interesting.
I don't think we should assume that it's anyone on the left, though.
No. I'm just saying that somebody saw the ad and made that. I'm not giving any prejudgments to his political perspectives.
Right.
Yeah, although he called him white supremacist on the message as well.
Huh.
Yeah, there you go. So that happened. There we go. Interesting thing, St. Louis County courts launching a new program to encourage people to deal with outstanding warrants. They're calling it Fresh Start Fridays. If you have a warrant for a non-violent offense, like basically you forgot to pay your parking ticket, you can get on video chat at 1 o'clock each Friday and get another court date or work it out. At 2 o'clock, if you owe them money for some fine or other debt, they will deal with that with you on video chat as well. Just go to the court's website and you can find more information on that. UPS is hiring. They're looking to hire a lot of people in the area. They've got 2 hiring events that are happening, one today, one tomorrow, both of them 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Let's see here. The first one, both of them are going to be happening at 2 different locations on South Jefferson, 520 South Jefferson in St. Louis, and then their location out in Earth City. Just go to UPS and look up jobs, and you should be able to find that information for them. Sports. Okay, Astros take Game 5 of the World Series. Man, that was a tight one last night. Close game. 3-2.
Yeah. All they need is one more.
One more. Yep. Final score 3-2. Today is a travel day, and the series resumes tomorrow in Houston. Also, Blues lost 6th straight game. That's 6 in a row.
There's something seriously wrong there.
Man.
They need to, I don't know what they need to do, but they need to get in there and actually address the problem. Usually it's like, okay, beginning.
Yeah, it's early in the year.
6 in a row. That's tough.
That's really bad. Islanders beat them 5-2 last night at Enterprise Center. So, holy crap, 6 in a row. I know it's early in the season. I get it, but come on, 6 in a row.
Yeah,
not good. Not good. All right, just ahead here.
LGB, let's go Blues.
Yeah, really. Let's see here. Let's talk. I don't know. I think there's an election coming up. Let's talk about that. At 6:05.
LGB, let's go Brandon.
Hey folks, Tim Jones here for Hanson's Tree Service. As my daughters would say, it's fall, y'all. That means it's the perfect time to call Hanson's. Prime time for Hanson's to come out and do all that fall trimming before winter storms can bring down trees and limbs on the homestead. Get on the Hanson's schedule for winter dormant oil applications to protect your trees from insects taking shelter over the winter, and a perfect time for Hanson's to put you on a preventative plant health care program. Everything you need for winter can be found at Hanson's. Hanson'sTree.com.
I've said it before. You need a proven conservative leader to represent Chesterfield and Jefferson City. Hello, I'm Ben Keithley, and I represented you on the Chesterfield City Council for 4 years. I was blessed to grow up in Chesterfield, and I pray my children will feel the same way. That's why I'm running. Better schools, safer neighborhoods, and smaller government. I'm Ben Keithley, and I'm asking for your vote for state representative.
Paid for by friends of Ben Keithley, Alan Keithley, Treasurer.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years, featuring exclusive products, unbeatable prices, and expert installation. You can choose from a wide variety of flooring options, including carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, plus many other options. And you'll gain a peace of mind knowing that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in-store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home online. Check out everything Michael's Flooring has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. 800-979-3060. That's 800-979-3060.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. As energetic as ever, former President Trump holding another in his ongoing series of Save America rallies, this one in Sioux City, Iowa.
When Republicans take back Congress next week, we'll be fighting for the people of Iowa, and we will win for the people of Iowa. One of the first things we must do is stand up for parents' rights and parental rights. We will get critical race theory out of our schools.
The former president underscoring his support of Senator Chuck Grassley.
And also you're going to re-elect one of the great governors in our country, Kim Reynolds, as your representative governor. She's been incredible. Everything she does, it just works.
Meanwhile, Mr. Trump continuing to hint at making another run for the White House. To quote the former president, I will very, very, very probably do it again. And then there's President Biden pitching his student loan wealth transfer plan, even as it's facing legal challenges.
At a college in New Mexico, the president said the government is busy preparing to offer up to $20,000 in debt relief for millions of borrowers.
By the end of this week, the Department of Education will have approved applications of 16 million Americans.
However, a federal appeals court has temporarily blocked the Biden administration's plan after states and conservative groups argued the White House doesn't have the legal authority to broadly cancel student loan debt. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Twitter, under new management, may be about to slim down. Elon Musk reportedly planning to cut the staff of 7,500 by half, and the pink slips could start raining down later today. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures up 207 points, NASDAQ futures ahead 92, S&P futures 31 points higher. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Relief Factor. Pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
And now a small business setback, delivered by a kind French stranger.
Monsieur, there was an accident. The windshield of your catering van is, how do you say, kaput? But Progressive has an extensive network of repair shops. Now, we sing about the old days. Brave marin revient de guerre.
When things go wrong with your small business, it's comforting to know you have Progressive Commercial. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Croissance for everyone. Brave
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Doing pretty well this morning. There was some heavy traffic on North County, 270 westbound approaching Washington Elizabeth. They had a lane down, but looks like they're picking that up, at least for now. They'll likely put it back during the midday. And over the weekend, we're going to have a lot of work on 270 North County focused on the new Florissant Road area. You may want to just make plans to avoid it. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. Another really mild to warm day for Friday, and windy too. Low of 63 and a high of 80. The record is 82 from 1978, close to the record, and the winds really start cranking Friday night into Saturday morning. Gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Want to tie down those loose objects Friday night before you head to bed. This is going to come with some rain Friday night, overnight, and early Saturday. Rain moves out for Saturday afternoon with a high of 62, a cooler, breezy day. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by House Sold Easy. Looking to sell a house fast? Call David today at 314-293-3000. That's David with House Sold Easy at 314-293-3000.
Hey, Tim Jones here with Tony Colombo for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner at the Wallner Home Selling Team. If you're thinking about taking advantage of the market and selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now. Put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. Rodney and Jen have the experience and work ethic that sets them apart from all the rest. That's why they sell 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor and have so many qualified buyers right now. They'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. The results, Tony, speak for themselves.
That's right, Tim. In fact, I recently benefited from those results personally. My wife and I couldn't be happier with the job the Wallners did for us, selling our old home in less than 2 days for significantly more than we were asking for and finding us the perfect new home. Like so many others, we loved working with Rodney and Jen, the Wallner Home Selling Team with Berkshire Hathaway. So if you're thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD.
This is what's happening.
The midterm elections.
We are going to win this election.
What happened to Paul Pelosi in San Francisco?
News, analysis, opinion.
Crime has soared.
Just look at the facts. He is totally wrong.
This is News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
We have a hope.
Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up! Get up!
What do you call a genius in President Biden's Homeland Security Department? A visitor.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up! Get up!
Here we go. Last weekend before the election.
Yowza.
Okay. So the weather forecast is pretty nice for this weekend.
Yeah.
You can check that out. That means there's likely going to be a lot of last-minute door knocking. Massive push for get out the vote on Hannity. Senator Tim Scott was on being asked about the upcoming midterms, and he's talking to everybody nationally, but it definitely applies to us in addition to everybody else.
Your vote matters today more than it has ever mattered. We must finish this race. Don't run to the finish line, run through the finish line. There is too much at stake.
And that's probably as much energy as I've ever heard from Tim Scott.
Yeah. I mean, that was actually a lot. He's usually a very even-keeled guy.
Yeah. By the way, he's got another book out. I got to go pick it up. I saw it at the bookstore, but didn't have. I should have picked it up, and I just didn't for whatever reason because his first one I really enjoyed. But he's got another book out. So
I could add it to the pile of unread books.
That's the thing is I can't because of my eye thing. I've got this stupid
you got the monocle
reading glass thing that I'm still looking at, and it cracks my wife up, and she's like, "This is so funny." Look, I'm like, "It's not funny. It's really frustrating."
Stop
it. So hopefully I can get rid of this and get caught up on my book reading stuff. Most interesting races. What's got your attention? 314-912-1019. I mean, what concerns you, worries you, excites you the most? It can be local, national. What race or races has you all captivated? It doesn't have to be here. It could be anywhere. Which ones are you really watching, guys?
That Oz Fetterman race is just fascinating to me, mostly because Oz started out as a Trump endorsed but highly unpopular Republican candidate, which was kind of a conundrum in and of itself because of his tendency to pick winners, right? And then of course there's Fetterman's health saga that has impacted his ability to perform. So you've got this kind of weird combination of events coming together, and it looks like Oz is kind of finally pulling ahead, but we'll see. Obviously, we talk about this all the time. The polling is kind of useless,
right?
So, it's really going to come out on election day, and I'm really fascinated to see where Pennsylvania decides to go.
Yeah, that early voting thing with that situation too. I bet there are a lot of people who are really disgruntled about the idea that they voted early, and then they saw the actual debate and we're like, oh my God, what did I do?
What did I do?
I'm really interested in, well, first of all, Carrie Lake and Katie Hobbs in Arizona gubernatorial race. But then I just saw on the Chiron here on Fox News about the Wisconsin governor race. And apparently Stephen Colbert lied and said she lied and somebody lied. I need to read about it. Because now I'm interested.
The governor's race or the Senate race? Is it the Ron Johnson race?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. So you are talking
Whitmer and
that's Michigan.
I'm sorry, Michigan.
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, he was. I just saw it. I just out of the corner of my eye, I saw Colbert was making fun of the Republican
Tudor Dixon. Tudor Dixon.
Dixon, yeah. And he said she lied, and then they said no, she did not, and here's proof. And so I need to find out about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting race up there.
Yeah.
I'm obviously locally the Paige Mantovani race because
clearly.
That is such a. I really think this is going to be a very close race, and if this were a traditional situation where Mark Mantovani had from August, after a primary to run up to this, or started the campaign, earlier on, I think that there would be an even better chance of beating Sam Page. Sam Page is spending his money on other candidates, which tells me he thinks that he's got this in the bag.
Extremely confident.
He's very confident.
But I did see a couple of Mantovani ads that are, pretty well. They appear to be scathing if you're not paying attention.
Right.
I mean, I thought they were silly, but another ad. Well, actually, all the ads that I've seen that were like the flame throwing ads from the left to the right, they all seem to be in lockstep with extremism. And too extreme for Illinois, too extreme for Missouri. They're really in.
Right.
That's one thing you got to give them credit for is they are in lockstep with the message and the narrative.
Well, their messaging has to divert away from their performance.
Yes,
because
exactly
on the things that actually matter to people, their performance is absolutely dismal, and they have to own it because they can't blame anybody else.
Right.
In Illinois, the Democrats own the state house, they own the state senate, they own the governor's race. Or the governor's office. They own everything that's happening in that state. So they have to divert. They have to talk about other stuff. They frankly have to disenfranchise a huge number of voters in their state to keep their base showing up because it's not that Illinois is such a deep blue state. It's that Chicago is so huge and deep blue. Downstate Illinois, other than Decatur and Springfield and places like that, pretty red. And so basically they've been getting a middle finger from Chicago and Springfield for decades.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting when you look at Illinois, they would be essentially St. Louis if their cities had if Chicago had emptied out the same way St. Louis did, kind of. You know, if you really think about it,
right?
So it's one of those things where those centralized blue areas, if you let them go, if for some reason they have a huge draw like your LAs and your New Yorks and Chicago's, obviously, versus other places in your states, they're going to dominate where they are, and it's going to be crap for everybody else outside the city centers.
Of the national races, I'm also fascinated with this Pennsylvania one for the same reasons you mentioned. I think it's just a fascinating dynamic. Because what's being told is what people are being told is, okay, we know that he is incapable of doing the job, but you still have to vote for a guy who is essentially an invalid going into office if he is elected. And the interesting thing on the polls in the last 24 hours, I see headlines, Oz up by 3 or 4 points. On the conservative sites, liberal sites, Fetterman now up by 4 or 5 points. So at this point, just wipe away the polling. It's just
it's
useless.
nonsense.
It's all activist nonsense anyway.
It gives people the impression that there are people standing around saying, I'm going to go this way. Wait a minute, I'm going to be over here. No, I'm going to go back over here now. It's not happening.
I really wonder where the people in the middle stand on this whole thing, because obviously like you said, as a placeholder, he's an important candidate for people who are already on the left. They're going to vote left. They don't. They have no interest in letting Oz in. And then of course there's the people on the right who are well, Oz is our only chance here. We're not going to go with that guy. So the people in the middle who are just kind of dipping in basically right now.
Yeah.
So have they been clued in as to what's going on? That's kind of really the question.
Well, the good thing for Pennsylvania is if they're dipping in right now, and then they've probably gotten the message about Fetterman's inability to perform. I mean, at least.
Yeah, before like in life.
I should hope.
Much less Senate. It's funny you mentioned the people in the middle. A little in the 7 o'clock hour, there's now another push to put together what's being called like a centrist party.
Oh.
Another one of those, trying to look at 2024. Is there room for a centrist political movement in the country? Because you talked about the people in the middle. Left is moving farther to the left. The right has moved farther to the right in recent years, not as far right as I think a lot of people would want it to go. But is there an opening in the middle for somebody to compete in that lane? I don't think so, but I think it's interesting to see whether we need one or not, whether people think we do.
We're looking at you, Tony Colombo. Tony Colombo is a very staunch supporter of multiple parties. So we can have that discussion, because I find it a fascinating discussion. I'm pretty entrenched where I'm at, just because in my brain it works a certain way. But hey, I could be convinced.
And if that were to happen, I think they would draw more from the right than the left. Because the left is just, I think that overall, well,
I mean, look at how extreme the left has become. I mean, how fringe they've become.
I guess that's what. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, there are a lot of people that are left behind on the left.
Yeah, there really are. I mean, not that they wouldn't draw from the right. Usually, third parties hurt Republicans.
Yes.
I mean, Ross Perot, I think, hurt Republicans, but
absolutely,
there was clearly a demand. There was clearly a lane for people to flock to, so the Republicans weren't doing something right. But the interesting thing is that after that, the Republicans became more conservative.
Yeah.
So that could be, in political terms, a market signal.
Yeah, I suppose the best thing, the most effective thing that third parties do is they create that signal. They say, you know what, we're unhappy with you and we're serious. Maybe that's the aspect of it. It's like we're actually serious about our unhappiness with what your performance right now.
All right, so we're going to have that conversation a little bit later on. Just ahead here, Missouri Democrats in the legislature are demanding. Wait a minute, hang on, let me pound on the desk here. Demanding gun control legislation.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I think it's more like, I want gun control now.
Yeah, look at me, look at me, look at me. All right, they sent a letter and everything to the governor. I'll tell you all about it right around 6:20 here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
I've had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop right now before you blow us all away. Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up,
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Doing pretty well this morning. There was some heavy traffic on North County, 270 westbound approaching Washington Elizabeth. They had a lane down, but looks like they're picking that up, at least for now. They'll likely put it back during the midday. And over the weekend, we're going to have a lot of work on 270 North County focused on the new Florissant Road area. You may want to just make plans to avoid it. This report sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Ben Brown is the unwavering fighter Missouri families need in the state Senate. A local restaurant owner, Ben Brown fought against unconstitutional COVID mandates and won. Ben Brown received the NRA's highest rating for his commitment to protecting the Second Amendment. Ben Brown is the only candidate endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police because he proudly stands with our law enforcement officers. And Ben Brown is endorsed by Missouri Right to Life. He will always defend the unborn. November 8th, vote Ben Brown, the true conservative choice for state Senate.
Hi, I'm Ben Brown, conservative fighter for state Senate. Career politicians have done everything they could to tear our nation apart. Now our shelves are empty, businesses can't find workers, gas prices are ridiculous, and we're less safe than ever. It's time to set things right. I've faced down violent opponents in the cage and defeated liberal tyrants in the courts. Now I'm ready to fight for our families and our freedoms in the state Senate. I'm Ben Brown, and I'm asking for your vote. Paid for by Ben Brown from Missouri, Tim Miller, Treasurer.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point. Political rhetoric is dangerous, and protesting politicians and governmental institutions is a threat to democracy, or so we're told. There's a catch to that, though. These rules only seem to apply to those on the right side of the political spectrum. If you're on the left, it's fine to use overly heated rhetoric to get in the faces of political opponents, to protest violently and disrupt governmental proceedings. Case in point, on Wednesday, several protesters managed to get into the Supreme Court and interrupt oral arguments on a bankruptcy regulation case to shout about their freedom to choose being taken away. Setting aside the rudeness and the utter illogic of this stunt, imagine if protesters from the right had interrupted Supreme Court arguments on Obamacare or gay marriage. Legacy media headlines would be screaming about the gross impropriety and the severe danger such fringe extremists present to our democracy. Chuck Schumer, rather than warning justices that they would pay the price for their decisions, would be denouncing the protests and accusing the right of posing an existential threat. But Wednesday's protest came from the left, and, as with the protests outside conservative justices' homes, will be tacitly approved if not outright sanctioned by the media and leaders on the left. Because for them, the ends justify the means.
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter at SmoozyQ and keep listening to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Complete Decision 2022.
Vote! Vote! Vote!
Election night coverage beginning Tuesday night at 7.
I think it's going to be a blowout year for Republicans.
On 1019 and 94.1.
Right here.
News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. St. Louis's home of Decision 2022. Complete election results, analysis, and opinion. Beginning Tuesday night at 7 on NewstalkSTL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on NewstalkSTL.
America's talking to Fox News.
With the balance of power up for grabs and just days to go until the midterm elections, we're asking voters which issues will bring them out to the polls.
Our biggest issue is education and our borders.
I lean Democratic, but I have voted Republican in the past.
I want everybody to vote down the line, Republican red.
Inflation and the overall economy.
Well, the abortion, that's important to me. And also the medical. They need to do something about this medical because this is going out of this world.
Free speech on campus and especially in the classroom as well.
I just feel like the way things are going, you don't know who to vote for. And for me, I'm going to vote for the lesser of two evils. The one with the experience.
I support all the Republicans. The most important issue to me is the border wall and security. Our southern border is in chaos, being run by cartel.
This woke school thing.
Biggest thing for me, I'm retired, and inflation is really hurting with the way prices are just going up.
America's talking to Fox News.
And the time for talking is almost over because it's time for voting. Yep. But we got time to talk.
Yeah, actually, that older gentleman at the end, he said, as a retiree, he's worried about inflation. We sometimes neglect that demographic, even though they vote at the highest rate among all other demographics, right?
But
the
they're
retirees.
old.
Well, yeah, it's like they're old and they don't do stuff, man.
Yeah, other than vote and spend a lot of money.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think that's kind of one of the weird things is that our society, our culture, obviously, we're geared toward younger people,
like us.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, kind of. But a lot of media seems to be aimed at us in terms of demographic, us and a little younger, and we're particularly when it comes to politics, they are a major driving force. So even in our discussion of this, we've neglected them. They may be the ones to turn this election.
Well, the left, they're paying total attention to them. In fact, they're starting to use that whole Medicare throwing grandma off
and
the
Social Security
type of situation with Social Security, Medicare. And there was I try to find out why they're able to do that and say it without being a complete lie. But what they're using, Tim Scott apparently tried to pass some legislation, or at least offer some legislation about maybe dropping or lowering the benefits in Medicare, I think it was. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something to do in that area. And they shot it down right away. The Republicans did. But they took that and, of course, and ran with it as that whole platform of the Republican Party.
Whenever the Democrats want to fearmonger, that's where you go because it scares that particular voting group. Don't worry, older folks. The Republicans as a whole don't have the guts to reform Social Security and make it solvent. You're going to get yours. The rest of us are not going to get ours. Sleep easy.
Well, obviously, the problem is that whenever any discussion of reforming that program comes up, the reforms would obviously always kick in much later. So basically, those of us who are kind of in the midst of planning on this stuff are the ones who would be impacted. But all the ones who are currently receiving benefits are the ones who are scaremongered into thinking, oh, no, they're going to cut my check. Yeah. So,
because they need our money now to pay their benefits now because the money isn't there. What I say is give me everything that's been taken from my paychecks. Let me put it in my own account. And either I succeed with it or I fail with it. But right now, we've got the largest legal Ponzi scheme in the world.
Yes.
Social Security is all that it is.
Absolutely.
All that it is. And so the people on top right now getting all the benefits, they're the ones who are doing just fine. The rest of us are paying for it. But anyway. Yeah. Okay, so a few of the Missouri state lawmakers, Democrats, are making a big deal, going to the media. They sent a very strongly worded letter to Governor Mike Parson, and that's right. I'm sure they were pounding their desk when they were writing this. First of all, they lamented the fact that there's no way he's going to call a special session just to enact gun control laws, which they think is bad. They're very upset about that. But they said that one of the reasons that school shootings like the ones that happened a couple weeks ago in St. Louis, the reason they happened is because Missouri doesn't have enough gun control laws. So a lack of legislation causes mentally ill people to murder. is what they're arguing.
Right.
Yeah, so they are demanding that Missouri craft very specific legislation and pass it by February that includes universal background checks at a state level, red flag laws, and repealing the Second Amendment Preservation Act.
Yeah, read the Second Amendment.
How about no?
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But this is what you're going to have incredibly sympathetic media coverage of this.
Mm-hmm.
And every time there is a statement from some state representative in St. Louis or in Kansas City, what's going to happen is you're going to see the B-roll of the police officers and the FBI running around outside of the Visual and Performing Arts High School campus.
Yes.
That's what you're going to see.
Yes.
And are we going to see any like hammer control laws or any kind of car control or back control law or machete control laws? Because that's really what we're talking about here. It's not about the gun. It's about the mental health of the person holding the gun. Period.
Yeah, and the violence, that has been pervading society right now. Yeah, all of the above, all the societal things that nobody really wants to talk about because you can't legislate it away.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my point is you don't call it gun violence. It's not gun violence.
Yeah, it's human violence.
Murder.
With a gun.
With a gun.
Well, and what you've got is the state legislators, those who are already in office and those who are going to be elected on Tuesday, they can start filing legislation on December 1st. So, just 3 weeks after the election, 3.5 weeks after the election, they can start filing legislation. The legislative session starts in January, obviously. And there's going to be probably a big to-do and press conferences about the Democrats demanding what they're calling gun safety legislation. And even though there are very few state representative Democrats and state Senate Democrats, I guarantee you that's going to get a huge oversized bulk of the media coverage in the state.
Absolutely.
By the way, there's going to be a pro-gun control rally on the campus of the Visual and Performing Arts High School. So public property is being used for a political rally for gun control. It's going to be on the track and field of the campus. So there you go. I mean, it's a charter or it's a magnet school, but that's our tax dollars are going to be used for that.
Well, they're exercising their First Amendment right, and that's great.
On public property?
No,
Yeah.
no, but no, not that's a whole different deal.
Yeah, I mean, if they can they hold it at Tower Grove Park, sure.
Yeah.
Out in front of City Hall, okay. They go to Jeff City. Do you have a problem with it happening on public property? I mean, if they do it, then does the NRA have a right to come and hold a rally as well?
I mean, turnabout and all that good stuff. Here's the problem is that the systems are put in place right now to benefit one side.
Right.
We've been seeing it for so long. And we're finally actually saying something about it, and now they're calling us violent because so it's one of those situations right now where basically they've been enjoying a privilege for so long that any call for actual fairness is obviously fascist.
Right.
Got Dave on the line.
All right, Dave, I got about a minute for you. You're on NewstalkSTL.
Guys, good morning. Thanks for always taking my call.
You got
Morning.
it. Here's a new class that they need to add after they get back to reading, writing, arithmetic. Conflict resolution skills 101. We had when we were growing up, we would go out in the alley and pound each other and become friends or enemies. But we fixed it ourselves. We didn't instantly go to guns. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I mean, conflict resolution is one of those things that it's a major skill that's important for being a functional member of society. It's one of those things that is required to keep society together, to keep us from devolving into warring factions and stuff like that. Which is exactly why the teachers unions are not going to do that.
And maybe that, and maybe social media and the way people have been, pushed behind their computers, that they don't need that that type of performance. They don't need any of that.
Or if that doesn't work, you could just yell and scream and call them poo-poo heads.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they do on social media.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Essentially the same thing.
Hey, Dave,
Guys, thanks for always taking my call. I appreciate it. Great show as always.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not like guns at schools or anything new. I mean, when I was in high school in the 1980s, I was in a little hillbilly town in western Illinois, and there were a bunch of guns in the cars and the trucks in the parking lot. We didn't shoot each other. You had rules. If somebody was going to get in a fight, you had to take your class ring off because that's against the rules to fight with your class ring on.
That's so true.
Yeah, that's how it was.
Wow, you just brought back some memories.
Yep.
Oh man, in my high school in New York. Well, before I got to it, we used to have a shooting team.
Mm-hmm.
There was a range in the basement.
That was common.
Went unused.
Yeah, rifle classes. Yep. That was common.
Now, I talked about this on Vic's show. Have I ever told you guys that I had a truck and I would drive it to school and it had a rack and on that rack was a shotgun?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was common
At
where
school.
I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rifles and shotguns, especially around hunting season.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, 314-912-1019. Just ahead, hyperbole leads to stupid stuff being said by liberals on TV. I've got 2 examples.
Only 2?
I'm going to give you 3 guesses where they came from. But it's The View and MSNBC. Yeah. We'll let you hear it just ahead here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Complete Decision 22 election night coverage beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
No big old corporate lib AM station telling us what to say here.
Conservative talk for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL at 1019 94.1
And always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich. Lambert Airport's governing body on Wednesday took steps towards taking on $150 million in additional debt for capital projects at the facility. One project is a $60 million redevelopment of the baggage claim in Terminal 2. St. Louis County Municipal Court is launching a new program called Fresh Start Fridays to help people with outstanding warrants. St. Louis County officials said this new program will allow people with warrants for nonviolent offenses or court payment problems to deal with them virtually via a video chat every Friday. UPS plans to hire around 2,000 seasonal employees in the St. Louis area during its annual UPS Brown Friday hiring events this weekend. The St. Louis and Earth City UPS locations are looking for people to serve as warehouse workers, seasonal drivers, private vehicle drivers, and more. And in sports, the Blues fell to the Islanders 5-2 last night at Enterprise. The Blues have lost 6 straight games in regulation for the first time since February of 2018. Next up, the Blues head to Boston to face the Bruins on Monday night. Puck drop is at 6 p.m. Stifel, the St. Louis-based wealth management investment banking company, has struck a sponsorship deal with U.S. Ski and Snowboard. The deal calls for Stifel to become the title sponsor of what will be renamed the Stifel U.S. Alpine Team. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to newstalkstl.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
We're in decent shape so far this morning. Just check 55 north. It is rolling and just at the construction zone speed limit in South City. 270 westbound in North County is okay. Now, we're going to have a lot of road work eastbound on 270 between Riverview and Route 3, basically the Chain of Rocks Bridge corridor that's going to start at 6 a.m. tomorrow and continue over the weekend. They'll have that down to 1 lane, so that's something to file away starting tomorrow. The support sponsored by Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. Another really mild to warm day for Friday and windy too. Low of 63 and a high of 80. The record is 82 from 1978. Close to the record, and the winds really start cranking Friday night into Saturday morning. Gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Want to tie down those loose objects Friday night before you head to bed. This is going to come with some rain Friday night, overnight, and early Saturday. Rain moves out for Saturday afternoon with a high of 62, a cooler, breezy day. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Hi, this is State Representative Jim Murphy. Rising prices, crime, government overreach. These are issues on the minds of St. Louisans. As your state rep, I share your concerns. I filed legislation that reins in out-of-control bureaucrats, puts an end to gangs pilfering through our cars, and gets stolen guns off the streets. I have voted against out-of-control spending and voted for the biggest tax cut in Missouri history. I ask for your support in November as this work has just begun. Vote Jim Murphy, your state rep.
Paid for by Citizens for Murphy. Mary L. Murphy, Treasurer.
When is a financial help show not just a financial help show? When it's Pocket Watching with JT, the caller-driven financial talk show focused on helping you get your money right. Jason Thornton is a certified financial planner licensed in both tax and investments. You get JT's real reaction to all your money and business questions. Plus, you get JT's take on all the latest financial news. This is not just another financial show. Pocket Watching with JT now every Friday night at 8 p.m. on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Have you been floored? Not until you've gone to Michael's Flooring Outlet. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Save money and get quality at Michael's. Plus, your installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
The next Missouri Senator, Nick Schroer.
You know, it is good that Nancy Pelosi's not in America right now. It's less destruction that she can partake in. I can't get over her eyebrows. I mean, if you watch her eyebrows and watch inflation, it shows you the trends in inflation rising.
Huh?
And during Trump, her eyebrows were normal.
It's an economic indicator. Her eyebrows.
Really is. I don't know if it's the Botox or the vodka.
Vic Porcelli, weekday mornings at 9
on News Talk STL.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
I think they're trying to attack the American people.
Live and local.
Gabe, Mike, Ken, you guys are my morning cup of mental coffee. I love the show. Definitely a convert from the old one.
This is News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Hi, it's Dan Bongino here, and I'm proud to be on News Talk STL every weekday from 11 to 2. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, got an interesting question for you at 6:50.
Okay.
It was one of those online debates that started up on Reddit, and I found it really interesting.
I love the Reddit debates.
What are things that you enjoy less as you get older?
Oh.
And somebody compiled like the top 10 list, and it is almost right down the line exactly what I enjoy less. Although you guys are going to disagree with me on a couple of them. I think.
Okay, all right.
But we'll get to that around 6:50. So be thinking about that. What are things that you used to just love, but now that you're getting older, you're like, yeah, no. So 6:50, we'll have that conversation. It is 6:39 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson with Gabe Pfeiffer and Ken Williams. By the way, over the weekend, a lot of radio stations have really crappy stuff on the radio on the weekends. We do not. Mm-hmm. So I know that it's a tendency for a lot of people. All right, got all my news and politics and discussion, and I'm fired up and I'm informed, and might as well turn over to something else on the weekend. Keep it on 101.9 or 94.1 over the weekend. You are going to hear a lot of great, compelling programming because we do not stop being the home for conservative talk when Friday afternoon ends here. So keep it on here. A lot of really good programming.
A lot of new shows and a lot of live stuff.
And a lot of different perspectives too. Yeah. Really good stuff. Really good stuff on there. Okay, so I, as you know, don't think much of shows like The View.
Do any of us?
I don't think a lot of people pay a lot of attention to them until they reach a new level of stupidity. We just kind of assume that there's that standard level. So I don't know what their ratings are. I can't imagine that they are, for the amount of attention they get for their craziness, they can't have that great of ratings, I wouldn't think.
I couldn't imagine. I don't understand how they can make their payroll because I'm sure, Whoopi Goldberg isn't doing that for free,
I'm sure they're all making a lot of money.
And it's like, how do you finance that show?
And
because
it's not,
it can't be the advertisers.
Right. And it's not because they're all left wing, except for the one token squishy, middle-ish so-called Republican that they always try to have a token one on there. It's because it's just a bunch of people yelling and talking over the top of each other and repeating talking points. Mm-hmm. If you set up a show like that with just conservatives, I wouldn't watch that either.
It would feel weird.
Yeah. So on, I guess, yesterday's program, Sunny Hostin, she offers this level of philosophical genius.
I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican. Why? It's almost like roaches voting for Raid, right? It's like they're voting.
It's insulting to the voter.
They're voting against their own self-interest. Do they want to live in Gilead?
Okay,
do they
so do we let
All right, stop.
Yeah, that's about the level
what
of
it is.
discourse.
That's what it is. And then the soundbite went longer because then one of the others was trying to argue with her while the other four were. I mean, and it was just everybody bitching over the top of each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, I couldn't say it. First of all, Republican suburban women do vote Republican because they're Republican suburban women, you idiot.
Yeah, I noticed that bit of a flub.
Yeah.
I don't think she intended to say Republican that early, but she did, and it made it dumber,
yeah.
And then of course, but I do want to say, I think we're all married to white suburban women,
right?
And that's the demographic that's moving in this direction. I think we can say pretty definitively why they're planning on voting Republican. Yeah, and it ain't because they want to live in Gilead.
Yeah, the whole Gilead reference, that was just horrible. And then there's a racial component there. I can imagine. I mean, it was an Hispanic woman talking about white women, but can you imagine what would happen? Just scenario change a little bit.
Oh, the Tony Colombo flip test.
The flip test, yes. If a white woman were calling anyone in a minority group roaches,
it's like roaches voting for Raid.
I'm sure she thought
how would that go
was,
off, do you think?
I'm sure she thought that was very poignant. That'll make him think.
Yes, exactly. Did she just call us roaches?
Yeah.
Just like this is you can almost hear your wife say, "Did she just?"
Yeah,
I heard my wife say that bit.
Yeah, right, exactly. Pretty much the same.
Oh my goodness. So you've got that, and then over on the other pinnacle of thoughtful discourse, MSNBC, they had NBC's presidential historian. Apparently this guy makes a living by being NBC's presidential historian. His name is Michael Beschloss, and he was on with, I don't know, the weird white dude with the glasses, with the nerdy glasses, that guy on MSNBC, whatever his name is.
I don't know. They all kind of look the same to me.
They sure sound the same.
Sorry. That was a joke.
Yeah,
joke.
And he had this hyperbole to say regarding the midterm elections and the momentum that the Republicans seem to have right now.
And a historian 50 years from now, if historians are allowed to write in this country, and if there are still free publishing houses and a free press, which I'm not certain of, but if that is true, a historian will say what was at stake tonight and this week was the fact whether we will be a democracy in the future, whether our children will be arrested and conceivably killed. We're on the edge of a brutal authoritarian system, and it could be a week away.
Is he talking about the Democrats?
Oh my gosh! Hey, you guys remember when we
seize and kill your children?
You guys remember when we lived under fascism under Reagan? And
nice.
then there was the fascism under Bush.
Not bad.
And then there was the fascism under the other Bush, and then there was fascism under. How come every time a Republican gets into the presidency, we're a fascist regime, and suddenly democracy and the Republican system breaks out again, and we get a new president? Have you noticed that? It's weird.
Yes, I have.
It's weird. It's almost like the fascism doesn't exist.
Right. I guess that's the new campaign slogan for the Democrats: is "We won't seize and kill your children."
You combine what's being said on The View, this character on MSNBC, which, by the way, MSNBC, that's 24/7 for them. That stuff just goes on constantly.
Oh, yeah.
And then you bring out the big guy. That's Biden, but I mean Obama.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's, they're bringing out all stops here. They're just letting go of all stops, and they're because they're in trouble.
Absolutely. They have to threaten your life and existence and your freedom with the advent of the boogeyman over there in order to make you believe on some level that, oh, maybe I should just give the Democrats another chance, because my goodness, I don't want to have to wear a red cloak thing and be somebody's mistress.
I don't want them to seize and kill my children.
And I don't want them to seize and kill my children. My goodness. And of course, this is coming from the people who are arresting people out of their homes through the FBI because they were praying in front of abortion clinics. So let that sink in.
Yeah.
What are some things that you lose interest in or you dislike more as you get older?
I have a list.
Okay, we'll see how it matches up to the, I said 10 things. There's actually 12, but we'll get to the top 5, 6, 7 of them just ahead right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Losing my faith today.
St. Louis's home of Decision 2022. Complete election results, analysis, and opinion. Beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Starting to pick up some heavy traffic, 55 northbound about the River des Peres, headed into the work zone. We also slow on westbound 270 already this morning, coming in between West Florissant and the New Florissant area. That's the construction work. Typical volume, 270 northbound is just busy as you come up towards Manchester. Everything else looks all right. This report sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Friday, an update on Battleground, Arizona. Zach Smith at 425. Financial woes from Dr. Aaron Hedlund, 525.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps.
Weekdays at 3:30
on News Talk STL.
1949, the last time a Republican held the top post in St. Louis City. A gallon of milk was 84 cents, and streetcars ran down Grand Avenue. The city was booming. Unfortunately, St. Louis city streets are no longer the epicenter of family and business life. In the 80 years of Democrat control, our city has been on a steady decline. St. Louis City Republicans believe it is our duty to provide a different path forward. Learn more at stlouisrepublicans.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican Pat Curtis, Farber Treasurer.
Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
The candidates.
We're going to win this campaign.
The issues.
Gas prices, Biden inflation.
The election news, analysis, and opinion
you won't get anywhere else.
Decision 2022 happens.
There's a backlash coming
on News Talk STL.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right, in 15 minutes, I want to hear from you. Which of these elections, whether it's right here in the St. Louis region, around the country, have you most fascinated and fired up? Let's talk about it right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. 6:51 right now. Gabe Pfeiffer to my left, and we got Ken Williams right in front of me. I'm Mike Ferguson. Reddit had one of those debates that kind of did a string, and somebody decided to make a list. This is interesting. It's 12 things that people like less and less as they get older.
Mm-hmm.
This hit home with me on a lot of these. But I think there's a couple areas that you guys may not agree with me on. So what are some things as you get older? I mean, we're young and vibrant and youthful and energetic and we're full of vigor. But as we get less young than we used to be, what are some things you just find that you used to love that you just don't really enjoy as much?
Well, I found, and the main thing that always jumps out at me is for holidays, because your role obviously changes over time. When you're a kid, Christmas, Halloween, Easter, all of these things are very much about you. Like the older people focus on giving you stuff. Well, turnabout is fair play, and obviously you get into adulthood, and now it's about other people. And I do like giving gifts. I do like making other people happy and all that stuff. But eventually, it just kind of gets tedious. And it feels Halloween. It's like a bunch of kids coming and knocking on my door.
Yep.
And then get off my lawn. And then Christmas. I love Christmas. I go all out decorating and everything like that. But then all the gift stuff, I'm just like, okay, can we just, I don't know, just give me a hot apple cider and leave me alone. Maybe that's the problem. It's just, I just have a more leave me alone the older I get.
No, well, actually, you kind of jumped on what I was going to do, but, the holidays in general, we used to do, we actually do 4th of July every year at our house. That's our thing, because we have a big family and everybody does something different. But like the Christmas and the Halloween in particular, we don't do the same thing anymore because my kids are older, But for me also, Mike and Gabe, it's that whole thing about eating. I love the food, but I have to change my habits, and therefore, because of that, I don't enjoy it as much.
You mean you don't have an 18-year-old metabolism that you can eat like a pile of junk and it'll be gone in minutes?
I remember sitting there eating a pecan pie by myself watching TV, and it didn't bother me a bit. If I did that now, I'd be in a coma.
By the way, holidays is number 8 on the list.
There it is.
Yeah, I actually don't like Christmas.
Really?
I don't like it. My wife loves it. She goes all out. Our house is a winter wonderland.
Yeah, we came by last year or a couple years ago.
I don't like it because I don't like what Christmas has become versus what it should be. And that just kind of annoys me. And, I'm the one that says, okay, do we really need to buy everybody 3, 4, 5 gifts and worry about all that? Can we just focus on the time? That's more valuable to me.
Yeah.
I like the time together during the holidays, but the actual holidays, I could take or leave.
One thing I do in our family is I agree with that whole thing, the gift thing. I get caught up in giving gifts to my kids. I get obsessed actually about it. My mom, she passed away Christmas Eve. It was her biggest day of the year for her. So she loved it. She died on the day she loved. But at the same time, it's just you have to set aside the time. I tell my kids, we'll enjoy it this way, but we need to take a time to just be here for the moment.
For each other.
For each other.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. When it comes to food, what made the list was French fries. It says we enjoy French fries less as we get older.
Hard disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, I still enjoy them. I just don't eat them.
I would expand that all to any kind of fast food, though.
Well,
I
if you put it in those terms, and I guess kind of following along with what Ken was saying is about the amounts and things like that.
Yeah.
You know what?
I used to live off of fast food.
Yeah. Taco Bell. When it was really good.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Oh my God.
Taco Bell, McDonald's back when I was a kid, there was a roast beef place called Rax.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like Arby's, but better.
Yeah.
And so I used to love, I hate fast food. I can't stand fast food now at all.
Man.
I mean, I can taste the overwhelming sodium in my body wants to
So is it like a palate thing as well as sort of a physiological reaction thing?
I think it's a guilt thing. It's like, I know
I think it's that, but I think it's also, I think the quality's gone down.
Yeah.
You think?
Over the years, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so what's something else that you enjoy less as you get older? You used to really like, but you don't like now?
Playing sports.
Yeah, that's not on here.
But I think that's just the physicality of it all. I mean,
I love it. I appreciate sports more now than I did then. Yeah.
There's you are one of those guys like who's hanging on, and I really appreciate it. But I you get me in a game of basketball, it's like I'll have fun for like the first, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm I'm kind of out.
Now, how about this one? Number 7 on the list, video games.
Nope.
Oh, see, I love them.
See, that's where that's where you guys and I knew that was one that you guys were really enjoying. But that's probably like the physical sports with me and the video games with you. I enjoy them and appreciate them more now than I did then.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, we've got Rebecca. She's got a input on this.
Okay, Rebecca, I got about 30 seconds for you.
Hi, I'm 66, so I know. I do not like cold air blowing on me anymore. And when I was a kid, the old people used to all say, "Don't blow that cold air right on me," and I just turn that air conditioner up more on myself.
Interesting.
Now I can't take the cold air blowing on me.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm still where I want the cold air, but my wife is already where Rebecca is. Rebecca, appreciate you being on the show. Have a great weekend. Number 1, social media.
Oh gosh.
Number 2, waiting for anything. That's me 100%.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
If there's a line, I don't want anything to do with it.
Never really enjoyed it, though.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Number 3, alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it as much, yeah.
Number 4, anything that's loud. Parties, bars,
Yes.
clubs,
See, I like it loud, though,
No,
man.
no.
I crank up those actual speakers.
Oh, man. And snow in general was on the list, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, says the guy who went from New York to St. Louis. You've seen enough of it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewstalkSTL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks. May 9th, the Family Arena, Progressive Pioneers. Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks live. Reserved seats on sale Friday 10 a.m. at the Carroll House box office at the Family Arena or through Ticketmaster. Don't miss Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks.
All right, you feel good tonight? They're back, cocked and loaded. The Family Arena presents 38 Special with special guests Polly Hatchet and Black Oak, Arkansas. Saturday, November 19th, the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.com. Presented by the Family Arena.
Hi, I'm Bob Mahacek, and I'm running for state representative in the 92nd District. What do inflation, high energy prices, and out-of-control crime have in common? They're all the direct result of failed policies of the left. We've got to bring some common sense back into government. I'm proud to be endorsed by the St. Louis County Police Association and the Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. I'd appreciate your vote on November 8th. That's Bob Mahacek for state rep in the 92nd District. Thank you.
Paid for by Mahacek from Missouri, George Weinbright, Treasurer.
KLDY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Quoting former President Trump, I will very, very, very probably do it again. Thunderous applause, Sioux City, Iowa, when Mr. Trump strongly hinted at making another run for the White House. The former president singing the praises of Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, saying that she knows how to promote prosperity while balancing the state's checkbook.
She cut income taxes across the board to a flat and fair rate, eliminated taxes on retirement income completely, and was recently ranked #1 governor in the nation for fiscal responsibility. Wow. That's pretty good.
Mr. Trump also underscoring his support for veteran GOP Senator Chuck Grassley, the former president holding a nonstop series of rallies in the run-up to next week's important midterm elections. President Biden's final multi-day campaign swing has him in the blue bastion of California, where Democrats outnumber Republicans almost 2-1.
The president returned to California for the second time in recent weeks, where he's trying to boost Democratic House members in unexpectedly tight races. California is a heavily Democratic state, but has a string of competitive races that will play into control of the U.S. House. It's a case of Democrats playing defense in a liberal state.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. The government's jobs report for October to be released this morning, and it will be closely watched for any sign that employers are slowing their hiring. That's a prospect the Federal Reserve would likely welcome as a sign that the record-high inflation that's gripping the economy might soon start to ease amid ongoing interest rate hikes. And on Wall Street so far, stock futures have been positive this morning. The Dow futures up 174 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 76 points. More on these stories. Townhall.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-940-6161. That's 1-800-940-6161. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-940-6161. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercial.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
If you're northbound on 270, we've got heavy traffic building coming up through Doherty Ferry in Manchester. There's a little fender bender there on the right shoulder. 55 north, normal heavy traffic. Carondelet up through Gasconade. Add 3 minutes to your commute. Add a couple of extra minutes. 270 westbound approaching New Florissant due to the construction work this morning. This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Dell Technologies Black Friday event starts early with up to 48% off business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors, plus savings on accessories and free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. Another really mild to warm day for Friday, and windy too. Low of 63 and a high of 80. The record is 82 from 1978. Close to the record, and the winds really start cranking Friday night into Saturday morning. Gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Want to tie down those loose objects Friday night before you head to bed. This is going to come with some rain Friday night, overnight, and early Saturday. Rain moves out for Saturday afternoon with a high of 62, a cooler, breezy day. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by The Dental Link. Call Dr. Alan Link today, 314-794-6464 to schedule your free consultation. Offices in Baldwin and Melville, 314-794-6464.
Tony Colombo here for our family dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, a one-stop solution for all your family's dental needs, and I really mean all your dental needs. Dr. Boscia focuses on utilizing the latest technology to pass along the benefits and huge number of services to his patients, which saves you time, money, and reduces discomfort in many cases. He also focuses on your convenience by offering early morning and evening appointments to limit disruption to you and your kid's schedule, and to being available for same-day and emergency treatment. A broken or infected tooth can shut down your entire life, and that's why Dr. Boscia can usually treat you the same day you call about an issue, right there in the office without you having to be referred or make additional appointments with a specialist. In almost every case, Dr. Boscia is the only dental professional you need, and that's why Christine and I trust him with our family. Learn about all those great services and see if he's right for your family by visiting newcreationdentalcare.com. That's newcreationdentalcare.com.
The news and talk
Vladimir Putin again said today that Ukraine is planning to use a dirty bomb
that matters to St. Louis.
We've seen no indications of that.
News, analysis, opinion.
It's a real problem right now for the Democrats.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
This is your cousin Bob.
In radio, we call this a tease. At 7:20, is there a need for a centrist or a moderate third party or political movement?
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Think about it.
Ooh.
The tease worked. Yes. All right. It is 7:06. Got Gabe here, Ken here. I'm Mike Ferguson. Here we go. We are looking at the final weekend before the midterm elections, just a few days away. That's going to determine which party obviously controls Congress, and that means just a few more days of campaign flyers in your mailbox, although I haven't received very many so far this year, and campaign ads in your face. I've seen a lot of those. Fox News' Jill Nato has the story.
President Biden hitting several states with stump speeches, hoping to help Democratic candidates. In San Diego last night,
Get out to vote. You got to win. Vote, vote, vote.
former President Trump at a rally in Iowa Thursday teasing what could be his own potential presidential run in 2024.
I will very, very, very probably do it again, okay? Very, very, very.
All this as some races are razor thin, like in Pennsylvania, where the latest Fox News poll has Democratic Senate hopeful John Fetterman 4 points ahead of Republican Mehmet Oz. And Oprah Winfrey is now endorsing Fetterman, even though she helped Oz become a celebrity. Jill Nato, Fox News.
All right, clearly Donald Trump is running in 2024.
Yeah, clearly.
At 7:35, is there room for any other top-tier Republican candidates? So 7:35, I want to get into that because, you know, these campaign rallies happen and Donald Trump can't help but make it about himself, even though it's supposed to be for the other candidates. It's just who and what he is. It is what it is.
Well, yeah, he knows that's where a lot of people are there.
Yeah, so 7:30.
Well, that's why they're there, yeah.
Yeah, 7:35, we'll ask that question here. All right, by the way, and Jill Nato was mentioning Joe Biden. He is continuing to push a platform when he is speaking on gun control. I mean, this is what he is rallying people about, rallying Democrats about. So what you're voting for with each and every vote for a Democratic congressional candidate is gun control. This is from yesterday's rally.
When I was a senator, I wrote and got passed the assault weapons ban. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, never mind how the Supreme Court reads the Second Amendment or what the Second Amendment actually says. This is one of the left's key issues. So, you know, that's one of the things you keep in mind. And I think when you look at the focus of Tuesday's elections, we need to keep that focus on where it should be, and that is on Joe Biden's performance and on congressional Democratic failures.
Yeah, but the Democrat Party has really tried to minimize the impact of the Supreme Court for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying to anyway.
Oh, yeah. I recently saw I guess it was a campaign ad or something like that, talking about how, the court is packed with people who were appointed by presidents who never won the popular vote, and they're taking away your right. So It's very much a bid to delegitimize the Supreme Court. So yeah, I don't take it as anything that they're going to try to override them essentially, or run out the clock with federal laws that challenge them.
I mean, if I were a Democrat, I'd want to deflect onto the fear-mongering stuff. I'd want to deflect on the other stuff. I would, even if it means debating the fringe elements of their platform, that's what I'd rather do if I were a Democrat, because otherwise you have to talk about what you've actually done and your actual record.
If you don't vote, and let's put it this way, if the Democrats win across the board, you're going to get more states joining the union for the Democrats. You're going to get packing the Supreme Court. The Electoral College is under threat of being completely eliminated. I mean, these are real things that we thought were conspiracy theories 10, 15 years ago are actually going to happen.
It kind of reminds me of the yearly evaluation you'd have to do at your employer. Are you going to actually say, when they say when they ask you what can you work on, what do you think you haven't done so well this year and that you can work on? Are you actually going to bring up the things that you screwed up?
Right.
No. You're not going to talk about the fact that you've underperformed, that you cost the company millions of dollars, that you've done. No. You're going to say, well, I'm doing a whole lot better job than Steve, and if you gave Steve my job, Steve would totally tank the entire thing. He would turn this into a fascist. I mean, he would ruin the sales group by his presence. I don't know. It's like you would deflect. I mean, and that's really what the Democrats are doing.
Under that same analogy, would you be rehired? Would you be fired?
Oh yeah, if you had a competent boss, he would fire you. So that's where we are the boss.
Right.
Here's my caution for everybody. Everybody. Is that you should never assume that the typical voter, and remember, the typical voter is not the person who goes out of their way to stay informed. They're not the people who tune in to talk radio. They're not the people who tune in to a variety of cable news outlets. They're not the people who get on Twitter and look to follow the sources and the analysts and all this kind of stuff. The typical voter, somebody who knows it affects us, pays attention, is for some, but simply wants to focus on other things. There's nothing wrong with that. But the typical voter will not always make a rational decision just because incumbents are doing a horrible job.
Yeah.
There's a familiarity in a lot of areas. I mean, for instance, Sam Page. Sam Page has a huge advantage right now in this race for county executive. I mean, it is stupid and it is immoral, I would argue, to vote for Sam Page, but don't think for a minute that he's going to get fired just because those of us who understand what's going on at a deeper level realize that he has no business being in that office. There are a lot of people who are like, yeah, things suck, but whatever. I've always voted Democrat. I know that name. Do not assume that people are going to make smart, informed decisions.
Yeah, we're talking about basically somebody else on the managerial staff who doesn't really pay attention. They don't know that the guy who came in for his evaluation is the absolute worst and needs to go. They're just like, well, I'm familiar with him. He's still here doing a job, so I'm going to go with that guy.
He never calls in sick.
He never calls. I mean, he's here. I mean, I see him. He looks like he's working. I pass his office. He looks like he's working. So that's basically the criteria that they use. Is like, we'll keep him.
Yeah, there are a lot of people. Now I don't know how many, but I mean, there are many people out there who they'll get Apple News once in a while on their phone. They'll look at that. They're listening to music all day. They're taking care of the kids. They're driving around. They're not paying attention really at all. They're noticing things like inflation. They're noticing gas prices are up. They're noticing they're having to sacrifice certain things in their budget. They're not investigating why, though. And then they hear these things. They might even hear incorrect information, in my opinion, on Apple News that you're probably only going to get.
Apple News is terrible.
Horrible.
Absolutely horrible.
So that's the kind of person that I always think about.
Well, and there are people who realize who's in control. So, I mean, I do think there's a lot of momentum with the Republicans. But this weekend is a good time. If you've got friends or family who are kind of in that, I know I need to vote. This is the time to reach out and, strike up a conversation in a positive way.
Yeah.
And try to nudge them the right direction, especially in the local races.
Yeah, here's how not to do it. It's like, so who you're voting for? Don't do that. Say something like, it's like, hey, what are your plans coming up? It's like, but I'm looking forward to voting on Tuesday to get Sam Page out of office. Oh, why is that? You see what I'm saying? You talk about your own perspective, yourself, why you are going to do what you're going to do, and at the very least, that will provide an impetus for the conversation, so you can bring up the fact that he's a horrible person who does not deserve the job, does not deserve anybody's vote. Do not tell them how to vote. Simply tell them how you're going to vote and why.
I'm so sick of these prices. I can't wait to vote on Tuesday. Why?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm really excited that hope to get the country back on track on Tuesday.
What do you mean on track?
Exactly. See, you spur the conversation that way.
Well, or you could even also say, I'm ready. I am so tired of this campaign. I'm ready for this to be over.
Oh, yeah.
But definitely I'm ready to get some changes done.
There you go. Yeah,
so
exactly.
Precisely.
Because everybody's ready to get this stuff over. You identify with these things. You you familiarize yourself, or you ingratiate yourself with somebody by doing that. By identifying the things that you share, the problems that you share.
So let's role play. So you mean what I shouldn't do is, who are you voting for?
Well, I don't know.
What are you talking about? How could you possibly not know that my candidate's the best one?
Dude.
What is wrong with you?
Dude, take it down a notch, man. What are you talking about?
Actually, we got a listener on the line here. I don't know her name. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name is Karen.
Hi, Karen.
I was calling just because I have been scrolling through, flipping through the stations, and I've never been a political individual. And I'm not going to lie, I'm 43 years old, and I've never voted. But I will be going out to vote on Tuesday because you personally have made an impact for me. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, you're very, very welcome.
Thank you so
great.
much, Karen.
What is it that's really fired you up, Karen, to get you to the polls this time?
So being a mother of two small children, and my husband is a roofer, so it's seasonal. I'm a retail worker. I've been a store manager for quite a long time, and gas prices they're a little bit lower than they were, but we all know the truth. It's not great. I have actually had to change jobs because gas was so expensive. I couldn't afford to drive to the place where I was working from South County to Chesterfield. And in order to give myself a raise, I had to change jobs. Food prices, it's getting difficult to, feed my family. And it's just crazy. And I don't like being told that my children may or may not have to wear a mask again. We're in a Melville school district, and it's a possibility, and I'm not a fan of that. I have a first grader and one that's going to be going into kindergarten next year. I don't love the idea that they may be indoctrinating my children, and I'm wanting to become more informed, and it's because of you that I have become more informed, and I'm really emotional this morning about it because it really touched my heart whenever you guys were talking about the average voter, and me knowing in my past, I've never voted before. I've never voted for a president. I've never voted for a local official. And now, listening for the last, probably since July, a little before that I am going to get out, and I know that I'm going to make a difference because I'm one of those individuals who thought my vote doesn't matter because it's not going to change anything because I'm only one person.
Karen, it absolutely matters. You got to do that, and it's wonderful.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Karen, don't hang up. Ken, let's if she wants it, we're going to send you a News Talk STL t-shirt.
Yeah, can you hold on the line?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Right,
don't hang up. We're going to send that to you.
Yeah.
Karen, thanks for being a part of the News Talk STL family.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
All right, 314-912-1019. What's got you fired up on this? Also, we hear people talking about a broken system. Do we need? There's about every 8 to 10 years, somebody calls for a new political movement, a centrist one, a moderate one, something like that. Should we actually have one? I'll tell you who's saying it now. We'll get your thoughts on that just ahead on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
You have a soul so dark, it is no more. And all at once depart, no destination. Making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now! I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away. Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin car. Get up, what are you waiting for?
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis, for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Information.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
On northbound 270 at Manchester is our only crash. Fortunately, that one is off on the right side, but it is pretty backed up to about I-44. 55 north, Carondelet up through Gasconades, getting slower than the construction zone speed limit. 270 westbound West Florissant to New Florissant is busy. Watch out for deer again this morning. We've got one struck eastbound 370 near Truman. Police are on the scene there. This report sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
In St. Charles District 105, there's one clear choice for state representative. Adam Schwadron has fought hard to punish porch pirates, cut taxes, keep our elections safe, and secure and protect personal property rights. Next year, Adam Schwadron will work to remove Soros-funded prosecutors that are refusing to do their jobs and jeopardizing our safety. On November 8th in St. Charles, vote for Republican Adam Schwadron for state representative.
Paid for by Citizens for Schwadron, Mike Summers, CPA, Treasurer.
Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. That's 800-561-3405.
Fox News commentary.
Elon and AOC are in a bit of a tiff again, and hang on to your hats, folks. I'm taking AOC's side on this one. I'm Tommy Lahren. Find out next.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Are you worried about your financial future as retirement gets closer? All over the country, soon-to-be retirees are fearing for their financial future as markets remain volatile. Bishop Gold Group helps you invest in gold and gold IRAs to protect your wealth and retirement during times of high inflation and wild swings in the market. Secure your future today. Contact Bishop Gold Group by dialing pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold, or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
The jury is still out on Elon's Twitter. Will it be more fair, balanced, transparent? We'll see. But one thing it may not be is free. Elon is toying with the idea of charging verified users $8 per month, and this concept didn't sit well with many users, including New York Congresswoman AOC, who tweeted, LMAO at a billionaire, earnestly trying to sell people on the idea that free speech is actually an $8 per month subscription plan. To which Elon replied, your feedback is appreciated, now pay $8. He also reminded her that she sells a $58 hoodie on her website that reads, Tax the Rich. Now listen, folks, I don't think I've ever taken AOC's side on anything, but I will on this one, because there is no way on God's green earth I'm going to pay for my blue check mark on Twitter. Even the other conservative throttling social platforms have committed themselves to being a free service and even pay their top creators. Elon, if you have people like me agreeing with AOC, you should reconsider. I'm Tommy Lahren.
Talk radio made in St. Louis for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL.
Our responsibility.
News, analysis, and opinion.
To provide updated guidance.
At 101.9, 94.1, and NewstalkSTL.com. Complete Decision 22 election night coverage beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Hey, do us a favor. Would you do us a solid, everybody? When you next time you're on your, whether it's Facebook or Rumble or Twitter or anything, just share our handle to your friends and family. Just share it. Just tell everybody about it. Our Rumble presence is growing beyond our wildest dreams. And so those
it's pretty awesome.
Oh, it really is. Those of you who are watching us on Rumble, that's really become kind of, I think, one of the platforms and centers of the Newstalk STL family. And put that, you can actually put that on your smart TV too. The Rumble app is easy to download, and you can watch us right there. You just heard the mention of the upcoming election coverage starting at 7 o'clock on Tuesday. Hey, just put that up on your smart TV. I know there's a lot of people that actually have us up in their house when they're getting ready to go to work and they're watching this, which is why, I have to come in looking presentable. And I sort of do.
And put on pants.
Sort of do. Well, I think with the desk, I don't think you could.
And we're on Facebook and YouTube right now as well, streaming.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So we're on all those platforms. So just what I'm asking is just, hey, everybody, check out this new radio station, locally owned. Locally owned conservative talk station. Just let us know. All right. It is 7:25 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. You got Gabe Pfeiffer here and Ken Williams here. At 7:50, Gabe is back on this Friday, so that means it is time for Not Today, Satan, here in about 20 minutes or so. All right. Every so often, we hear about the broken system we have.
Yes.
When it comes to politics, comes to campaigns, comes to politics, everything. And there are a lot of things that are dysfunctional. But keep in mind, sometimes the dysfunction is on purpose, and the founding fathers wrote dysfunction into our system. Now, that doesn't mean that everything that's happening is good, but remember, it's supposed to be an adversarial system. They did not want it easy to pass laws. They did not want it easy to grow government. They wanted to make it very hard, which is why they pitted different states against each other. And they pitted different interests against each other because the idea was that would help control government. So we hear about the broken system in politics and nothing ever gets done. Parties becoming too extreme. Now, that's an interesting argument. I think that you can say that they have moved farther away from the center. Now, you can argue whether that's good or bad. I mean, to me, when the Republican Party moves farther to actual conservatism and quasi-libertarianism, I like it when they do that. The left, though, has moved way, way, way far to the fringy left. So when we hear somebody say the parties are too extreme, we need a moderate system, is that actually a call for something new, or is this sour grapes from the side that's about to lose, or is it something else?
Well, generally speaking, most people, at least start out in their political understanding, identifying with one side or another. It's like, okay, one of these sides more closely or most closely associates with the things that I value. They hold the positions that I more positioned than the other. But of course, there are those levels of disagreement that you have, even with the party of your choice, are going to end up being a flashpoint over time if they're not addressed, if things don't progress in the way you want. So I can see that that's where a lot of the third party talk usually starts.
Okay, react to this, Gabe. A third party calling itself No Labels is hoping to recruit what they're calling a unity ticket as an alternative to very, possibly Joe Biden and Donald Trump, assuming that both of them run for office in 2024. Jackie Heinrich from Fox News has the story. She was at President Biden's event yesterday in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
A centrist group called No Labels is quietly mobilizing a major bid to launch a bipartisan unity ticket in 2024 as an alternative for voters, as former President Trump and President Biden each move closer to launching their own re-election bids. Now, No Labels insists that it is not actively considering any specific candidates for the unity ticket, which would feature a Republican and a Democrat. But whispers of political moderates being eyed for the job include Democratic Senator Joe Manchin and Republican Governors Charlie Baker and Larry Hogan. The group also says it will stand down if the unity ticket looks like it could become a Ralph Nader-type spoiler.
Okay, react. What do you think?
It's an interesting concept. Unity tickets actually were the norm in the early days of the Republic, right? The vice president was basically the second runner-up.
Was the first runner-up.
Or the first runner-up president, so it'd be the person on another ticket. But, of course, that makes for a not a great situation if the way our line of succession is. It
literally gave one party the motive to kill the president.
Yes.
If you think about it.
Exactly. I mean, and we didn't want the Republic to be quite that adversarial, so they've kind of fixed that. and now I don't think. Here's the problem, though. Now, maybe in the past, looking in hindsight, you could see where a Democrat and a Republican could come together on a majority of issues, and then and their slight levels of different disagreement could be what separates them party wise, and they could join on a unity ticket. Democrats and Republicans are so diametrically opposed in their worldviews, in the way they see freaking reality at this point. I don't understand the concept of a unity ticket.
Yeah, the no labels part, first of all, I think you have to have some sort of a label for people to identify with.
Well, no label is actually a label.
Right.
Well, it is in a way, but there was something that she said at the very end where if it becomes a spoiler like a Ralph Nader type scenario, that they would step back. Well, that shows that you're leaning one way or the other.
Yeah, it shows you're not serious about winning.
Right.
That's my beef with third parties right now, is you're not actually in it to win. You're just there to be a coffee clutch where you complain about the other guys.
Right.
I mean, you're basically the philosophical club that met at the coffee shop in college of people who thought they knew what they didn't really know, and they were smarmy about being outcasts.
Yeah, exactly. It's like let's talk about how I am an outlier and special. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's basically they're saying, well, we don't like either of these guys. Where do we go? And their answer to the question is, well, we want to go a third way. But the thing is, the third way isn't viable. And the thing is, they're acknowledging that it's probably not viable in the discussion of how the party would be conducted. So it's not really a party.
Would it be viable if you had people like Joe Manchin and, say, Tulsi Gabbard? Or you look at, I'm trying to think of who would be a Republican who is more centrist, but still, fairly.
Rand Paul, but he's
very libertarian.
He is. Yeah.
He was my first choice in 2016, and then he dropped out. And then I became a Ted Cruz guy.
I think I think it goes back to the diametrically opposed worldviews, because how do you reconcile? Okay, well, we have a pro-abortion candidate and a pro-choice candidate on the same ticket. No, what you're going to end up
pro-choice and pro-life,
pro-abortion,
pro-life.
pro-life.
Yeah.
Gosh,
right.
Anyway, but yes, you can't. That's not a unity position.
No.
It might be unity ticket, but that's not a unity position.
I don't see any room for a third party because no third parties are serious right now. Republican Party was a third party at one point.
That's true.
So historically, this has happened before. I don't see it at the moment. What do you think? 314-912-1019. I find those questions absolutely fascinating. All right, 7:35. It is pretty obvious that Donald Trump is running for president again in 2024.
Yeah.
Is there room for other top-tier Republicans to actually have a campaign and competition for that nomination? I'll give you my thoughts. I want to know yours. Let's talk about it around 7:36 here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
St. Louis's home of Decision 2022. Complete election results, analysis, and opinion. Beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Katie, reminding you to subscribe to our show podcast so you never miss anything that happens here at News Talk STL. Get our podcasts every day on the show pages at newstalkstl.com, or just subscribe to your favorite shows on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, or anywhere else you get your podcasts.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich. Mayor Tashara Jones was at the St. Louis Public Library Julia Davis branch yesterday to celebrate the opening of a new creative experience space that includes audio, video, and 3D printing tools. The Julia Davis Library is also one of the 4 locations throughout the city of St. Louis where residents can vote early and is where the mayor cast her ballot. The city of Brentwood broke ground on their new $7 million playground called Destination Playground and Water Play Area yesterday. The playground is part of a $90 million infrastructure plan through the Brentwood Bound Initiative to redevelop the Deer Creek area and mitigate flooding. Governor Parson was at Gray Bar in Hazelwood yesterday for a ceremonial signing of new tax laws. One lowers the state income tax rate to 4.5%, and the others extend tax credits for farmers. A website called Lawn Love has released its 2023 Best Cities for Sandwich Lovers study, and St. Louis ranked as the 4th best city for sandwich lovers to grab a bite. The study ranked dozens of U.S. cities based on the access and quality, in addition to local reviews through Google searches for sandwich-related terms. The Day of the Dead Festival returns to the Missouri History Museum this weekend. Highlights include souvenir printmaking, altar viewing, art displays, live music, and food from El Chico Bakery. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Got some heavy traffic to watch out for, especially 270 north, 44 up through Manchester due to an earlier crash and some earlier debris that was in the road. 270 west is slowed down West Florissant through New Florissant. Forder at Ringer, we have word of a pedestrian versus vehicle crash there. This report sponsored by Dell Technologies, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Dell's Black Friday event starts early with savings on XPS and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors, plus special pricing on accessories and free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. Another really mild to warm day for Friday, and windy too. Low of 63 and a high of 80. The record is 82 from 1978, close to the record, and the winds really start cranking Friday night into Saturday morning. Gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Want to tie down those loose objects Friday night before you head to bed. This is going to come with some rain Friday night, overnight, and early Saturday. Rain moves out for Saturday afternoon with a high of 62, a cooler, breezy day. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Plain talk from our true constitutional conservative voice, Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
We have to stop the crazy liberal agenda of defunding the police. We need more support for law enforcement. Give them the tools to stop violent crime, illegal immigration, and the cartels from flooding our state with their illegal drugs.
Mary Elizabeth Coleman opposes all taxpayer funding for illegal immigrants and will fight to cut state funding to cities that give sanctuary to illegal immigrants.
Biden's open border policy has brought fentanyl to our neighborhoods. Thousands of Missourians are dying as a result. Missouri should join the other states and send our National Guard troops to the border, if that's what it takes to keep our families safe.
True constitutional conservative Mary Elizabeth Coleman supports a Parents' Bill of Rights, is pro-jobs, A-rated by the NRA, and the only one in this state Senate race endorsed by Missouri Right to Life. Paid for by friends of Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
Let me tell you about my good friends Mike and Beverly Sloan over at Elite Printing and Packaging. Going on their 21st year in business, a success story that began in Mike's basement and now employs hundreds right here in the St. Louis community. Elite is a turnkey solution for all your retail printing and packaging needs. Custom built to suit your business. Call 636-561-8970 or email elitesolutionsgroup.com. And don't forget to use the code word PATRIOT to receive free design and artwork for your first project.
St. Louis's place to talk.
Because that's where the votes are getting stolen. When you get into the facts and logic and reason thing, it drives me crazy because you're right.
I call it the oh my God virus.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
Not today, Satan makes its return. 7:50.
We're back, baby.
By the way, you have Not Today, Satan, right?
I do.
Okay, Not Today, Satan makes its return at 7:50. We missed that last week when you weren't feeling it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, no worries. We got that happening. All right, 7:38 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Got Gabe Pfeiffer and Ken Williams here. Okay, as we mentioned just a little bit ago, and I'd love to know what people think about this. 314-912-1019. Come on, News Talk family. What do you think? Donald Trump, he comes in for the rallies for the Senate or governor, but he makes it about himself. That's just the way that it goes.
That's standard
We
operating
all know
procedure.
that's
Yes.
how it goes. So his recent rally speeches, even going back months and months, he's made it pretty darn clear he's running in 2024.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why people are like, well, if he's running. Okay.
Clearly.
He's going. So here's the question. is there room on the Republican side for an actual competitive primary and caucus campaign? I mean, for other top tier candidates. Now, there's always going to be somebody who, files, and somebody who was a 2-term congressman from 1986. Somebody out there is getting somebody who has zero chance. But is there room for somebody out there? For instance, Jill Nato has an interesting update on what are the insiders saying regarding Donald Trump and possible competition for that nomination.
Former President Trump on the stump Thursday for Iowa Republicans ahead of next week's midterms. But at a rally in Sioux City, he sounded like a candidate himself.
I will very, very, very probably do it again, okay? Very, very, very.
Aides to the former president have told Fox it's not a question of if Trump will run again, but when he'll announce. However, there have been rumblings inside the GOP that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis may have enough support to make a go for the nation's top job. Vanity Fair's reported that sources have been telling them DeSantis won't challenge Trump in 2024 and will instead wait till 2028 when the former president won't be eligible to run again. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Vanity Fair. Anyway.
They wouldn't even use Melania Trump on their stupid mag.
Fair. Okay, so now that's assuming Jill Nato's report assumes that Donald Trump wins in 2024.
Yeah.
If he wins and serves, then obviously he's term limited out at that point.
Right.
But is there, what do you think? 314-912-1019. What do you think, guys? Is there room for an actual competition for that nomination, or does the Republican Party just sort of clear the field for Donald Trump?
Well, let's define actual competition.
Somebody who is a top tier candidate that people would absolutely vote for or be excited to vote for. I mean, could somebody? And by the way, let me just grammatically correct like all the media out there. Nobody is challenging Donald Trump for the nomination. There is no nominee right now. He's not an incumbent.
Right.
It is an open nomination process, but everybody's like, who's going to challenge him for that? It's not his to. It's his to lose in practice, but it's not.
Yeah, it's an assumed position there.
I mean, you look at, for instance, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Kristi Noem, people like that. I mean, the people who are very popular within the Republican Party and the conservative movement. Is there room for them to actually make a run and say, I'm going to compete for this nomination?
Well, what they will do, it's an exercise for them, even if they know they're going to lose. It's an exercise for them to get their face time, to get used to doing it, to get people used to them. And then so when they do run again after Trump's gone, they'll have a leg up, so to speak.
Now, one thing that's different, though, about any election that includes President Trump is that he demands loyalty, and any challenge to him is considered disloyal. So the thing is, in the past, you can have primary challengers who go on to work with administrations of the winner, because there's a little bit of a gentleman's agreement about how that's going to go. Trump doesn't operate that way. So the thing is, if you challenge him in the primary, there's no way you're going to get that diplomat spot.
He is going to find a name to call you. He's going to make up something.
Yes, and his method of campaigning is basically destruction. Like he doesn't want to say, "Well, I'm just the better guy for the job." He wants to also say that you are a horrible person and you deserve, to never work again in politics, kind of thing. So really, we're talking about who wants to decide to become the designated punching bag for the Trump primary campaign.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a really good point.
I mean, I will tell you right now, if Ron DeSantis got in, I'm a DeSantis guy.
Well, yeah,
in a primary, and that's not even anything against Donald Trump. I just like Ron DeSantis more.
Yes, same. I would vote in a primary. I would vote for Ron DeSantis over Trump, but I don't think DeSantis is willing to spend his current level of political capital on that fight.
Well, that's going to make this morning show more interesting because I'll be all Trump.
Right.
You'd be all Trump.
You're a Trump guy.
Why would you do that?
Because he's got a track record. Number one, his policies. It's about Trump's policies. It's not about, and it's also. There's one more thing.
But we're talking about the same policies.
Well, we are in a way. Well, I don't know.
I mean, DeSantis has a track record too.
He's a governor.
Right. Of course he is.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been president, and I know what Trump's planning to do.
Okay.
Not only that, though, there's also this element of what the left is willing to do, and I think Trump is probably the only person that's going to be able to fight them on the same field that they're wanting to toe down on. I know that no, DeSantis. No, I'm for DeSantis. He is a good. Right, he is a hitter. He's a Kerry. He and Kerry Lake.
Yeah,
I think
you don't dislike Ron DeSantis.
Not at all.
I don't.
Not even a little bit. I love what he does.
It's not. And I'm not saying I dislike Donald Trump. I'm just saying if those were the two that were put in front of me right now, I'd vote for Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, I'd love to see Kerry Lake and Donald Trump. I think that would be a great combination. But that's even like 2 years away.
Yeah.
But at this moment, it would be Donald Trump for me, and it's because of his policies. And I know Donald Trump, to his last breath, is going to attack like a rabid dog against this left that is so bad, and this left that is so dominant and authoritarian and tyrannical that he would say, no, you're not getting away with it. And I know to a degree DeSantis probably would too, but I know Trump will.
Okay.
Anybody else in there you think could actually become a major influence on that? I don't know that there's anybody else at the moment who could possibly be competition. And I think you might be right, Ken. I don't think Ron DeSantis wants to risk an L in a primary.
Right.
I think, by the time, he's a very young guy. He's 40-something years old.
Oh, God, he's got time.
He's got plenty of time. He's not, politically speaking, he's coming up on his prime. And so when he's reelected on Tuesday, then you're looking at him leaving office, because I believe that Florida has term limits. If I'm wrong about that, somebody correct me, but I think you can serve twice in Florida. And then he's got 2 years to campaign full time in 2028.
And that's the perfect scenario, I think, all the way around would be, okay, here's my perfect scenario.
Okay, yeah.
DeSantis as vice president, Trump as president, then the next election.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I
know. I would rather have DeSantis show what he can do as governor than be hidden in the vice presidency.
See, now I agree with that too.
Yeah.
I think Florida's got a great governor.
Yep.
Okay, and if he follows through, because right now I don't know if you know, but Charlie Crist was saying no, he doesn't even want to be governor.
Right.
He wants to be president. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
But if he does run for governor again, that's going to shut all that down.
Yeah. I don't see DeSantis as a vice president either. Also, primarily because one of them would have to change state of residence in order to do that. You can't have a president and vice president from the same state, I think, according to the Constitution.
That's disputed, but I think that's how I read it.
That's the general interpretation.
That's the general interpretation.
Yeah. So I don't know. I
mean, remember Dick Cheney had to change his address back to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Because he lived in Texas when George W. Bush picked him.
Exactly.
So he had to find a.
So it's doable.
It's doable, but I don't think he would do it.
I just don't think it's going to happen. But I'm just saying, that would be my thing. But
all right, just ahead here, Gabe takes over.
Yep.
Grab the steering wheel. It's Not Today, Satan Time, right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
St. Louis's home of Decision 2022. Complete election results, analysis, and opinion. Beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. You're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Road workers slowing things down 270 westbound at Washington Elizabeth. They've got the left lane closed already, so that is jammed back to the Halls ferries. 55 north pockets running up through Virginia and Gasconade. It's really not terrible. Likewise for 270 northbound, they're just busy pockets. Tesson Ferry up to Manchester. Add 3 minutes to your commute time. Forder at Ringer Cruiser clearing a crash. That one did involve a pedestrian. This report sponsored by NetSpend All Access Account. NetSpend All Access Account. Get the account designed for your everyday mobile banking needs. Banking services provided for and account established by Pathward NA, member FDIC. Deposit account opening subject to registration and ID verification. Terms and costs apply. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Friday will be 4 days before the election. We'll check in with Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft and find out any last-minute news we need to know before the election.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
What if everything you thought and believed to be true about owning and buying your home turned out to be wrong?
Straightforward, objective advice on the right way to make the most out of every dollar you put into your home.
We're the only country that has one of those. Most other countries, considering like Canada, the UK, they don't have long-term fixed-rate mortgages like that. They're all variable-rate mortgages.
HomeWise with Michael Midget, Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Kenny Zhu, president of Color Us United.
Race became a profitable industry. That's what happened. Racial victimhood. We all believe in civil rights, but then there are people who actually profit off of racial victimhood in this country. Diversity, equity, and inclusion right now, the new hot thing in companies is a $10 billion plus industry.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 3:30 on News Talk STL. Complete Decision 2022.
2022.
Election night coverage.
2022 midterms.
Beginning Tuesday night at 7.
I feel the enthusiasm. I think the Democrats are going to be shocked.
On 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
All right, at 8:05, we got our friends from CNS.com. Ken Davis going to be with us again. He's got a new op-ed out. The real reason the left can't deal with crime. It's an interesting op-ed. I just checked it out a little bit this morning. I know you were reading it in the break. Interesting stuff. So Ken's going to be with us at 8:05. However, before that, right now, Gabe, take it away.
It's the weird, the wacky, and the worrisome. These are the stories that make you say.
Look on the devil. Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening. The devil.
There's only way to be sure.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Amen.
Amen. A popular scenic location in England is starting to cause problems for locals. Not because of all the tourists, mind you, but because of the really rude ghosts that live there.
Get behind me, Satan!
The worst kind of ghost.
the rude kind, or the worst kind. Now, the place is called Dead Woman's Ditch in Somerset, England, so naturally it's haunted. A woman was killed there by her husband and dumped in a particularly picturesque spot back in 1789, and according to locals, she never left. And apparently she's pretty salty about it. The ghostly resident reportedly swears at visitors, telling them in no uncertain terms that she doesn't appreciate their presence. One woman reports that they have been told to F off.
So we've got we've got the ghostly equivalent of "Oh no, you didn't."
F off. Yep, snapping and head movement and all. Now another described actually seeing the apparitions. And here's the story. When I was about 17, on my way home from work, driving along a cold road, I saw a bright white figure on the side of the road, so I slowed down. It appeared to be a woman completely dressed in white, old-fashioned clothing. I couldn't take my eyes off as I drove past, but I dare not look back, so I just went straight home.
Okay, can I just say that, is anybody taking the husband's perspective into consideration here? You said it was very picturesque and very scenic.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted to leave her something pretty to look at for eternity.
Oh, well, there you go. He's
kind of thoughtful.
That was a thoughtful.
I'm just saying.
I mean, aside from the murder,
some wives just complain about everything.
Or maybe they were on vacation. It was like, look how pretty this is, and she had only bad stuff to say about it. It's like, you know what? Now, in another instance, someone described seeing a man in a long dark coat. Maybe it's the husband that suddenly appeared out of nowhere on the edge of the road before disappearing in an instant later. Probably not a place I want to vacation, but. In our second story here, we discuss another visitor to the UK, a giant huntsman spider.
Oh. Hell no. To the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no.
When you say a giant, those things are big anyway.
The huntsman spider, if you recall, is typically my stories about huntsman spiders are coming out of Australia. This one was another visitor in the UK. So the RSPCA, which is the British equivalent of our ASPCA, they shared a picture of a sizable arachnid found by shipping staff members in Hull, England. The huntsman spider hitchhiked his way on a shipping container out of China. The charity confirmed it had been safely collected by one of its inspectors and that it is now taking it easy at a rescue center.
Okay, can I point out that if you've got
you put a leash on it?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you've got a huntsman spider that's bigger than normal huntsman spiders, have you ever seen that movie with Donald Sutherland where the alien like wraps around your whole face? That's like the size of what I'm envisioning right here.
Oh, yes.
Is something that big. Huntsman spiders are absolutely massive.
They are gigantic. They're kind of bigger than your hand, essentially, if you include their leg span and everything like that. So
I've seen videos where they look fake.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
They
It's
look
like it looks like some sort of special effect out of a movie,
or
right?
a decoration you would buy for Halloween.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that they are that big. And if you're talking like unusually large, no, take me back to the street with the ghost woman who cusses at me.
Yeah.
No, God, please, no, no, no.
I wonder if British spiders think Australian spiders have funny accents.
Maybe.
So now in our last story, we have a British man. I'm obviously thematic here. A British man who's decided to grow the world's most dangerous plant in his home.
Well, isn't that special?
Now, while Daniel Emlyn Jones, 49, who is an online tutor from Oxford, says he wants to promote an interest in plants by cultivating unique fauna, he's kind of picked a very weird one to start with. One must wonder what he must be thinking actually bringing this thing into his house. It's called the Dendrocnide marodius or something like that. It's the Australian stinging tree. It's kind of like
power of Christ compels you.
It's kind of like a nettle-like shrub, and it's capable of delivering a sting that feels like, quote, being burnt with hot acid and electrocuted at the same time.
Ooh. Yeah, no.
Apparently, there's a toxin that lives on the leaves of this plant. So even if you have any skin contact with it, it will basically destroy your world.
So you're like hoping for sweet, sweet poison ivy.
Yes, exactly. Now, here are a couple of instances here where they people describe it. Australian World War II soldier Cyril Bromley recalled how he fell into the nettles while training, with the ordeals sending him into madness after weeks of agony and ineffective treatments. So the pain from the sting lasts for weeks.
And this guy's like, I know what I want in my garden.
Yeah. Now, another person here reportedly shot himself after accidentally using the plant's leaves as toilet paper. The pain was that bad. So,
it's so bad. Just do it. I'm done.
Emlyn Jones has however decided to risk the danger because, he likes plants. I still think this guy's a loon because when it comes to killer plants, I'm never going to be okay with your little shop of horrors. So you know what I'm saying.
Look all the devil.
Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This ain't happening. The devil.
There's only way to be sure.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Amen.
So why can't Democrats deal with crime? They run all the areas, the big cities that have the worst crime. Why can't they deal with it? We're going to get the perspective from CNSNews.com's Ken Davis about that just ahead.
Hi, I'm Jen Wallner.
And I'm Rodney Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Rodney, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission rate?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
When's the best time to sell your home?
Right now. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Hi, this is Councilman Mark Harder, running for St. Louis County Council, representing West St. Louis County. I want your vote to make sure county government does what it is supposed to do and doesn't do what it's not allowed to do. I want to ensure your maximum personal liberty as a county resident. I want to continue to be your voice in West St. Louis County. On November 8th, re-elect me, Mark Harder. Vote smarter, vote harder.
Paid for by citizens to elect Mark Harder. Chuck McCluskey, Treasurer.
Hey folks, Tim Jones here for the best and brand new St. Louis sports bar experience in the entire St. Louis region, Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge, Missouri, located just 10 minutes from 270 and Gravois. 30 TVs, a huge game room, a great outdoor patio, the Sunset Patio, complete with the Sunset Stage and the train station bar, serving the famous Johnny Dow's chicken wings and the best barbecue in town. Open 6 days a week, serving lunch and dinner. Check it all out on the web, jhideout.com. Johnny's Hideout STL on Facebook. That's Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The job market remains strong, perhaps stronger than the Fed would like. The Labor Department says employers added 261,000 jobs last month, more than economists were expecting. The unemployment rate ticked up 0.2% to 3.7%. The strong employment report could prompt the Federal Reserve to keep hiking interest rates by a substantial amount to slow the economy and fight inflation. Former President Trump dropping what may be the strongest hint yet about his future political plans. Mr. Trump telling a rally in Iowa yesterday, referring to another run for the White House, that he will very probably do it again. Mr. Trump says the Democrats sorely mistaken if they think that weaponizing government is leaving Americans powerless.
The radical left thinks by doing all of these wicked and venomous things, and they are really horrible, that they're making us weaker, when in actuality they are making us all more unified.
Election Day now just 4 days away. Mass layoffs to begin today at Twitter.
All Twitter offices are temporarily closed as employees learn today whether they are still employed. A Thursday night email told employees they would know by 9 a.m. Pacific time today whether they still have a job at the social media company. Elon Musk has said that he plans to cut costs by reducing the 7,500-person staff by half. He's also directed employees to find up to $1 billion in infrastructure cost savings. For the Twitter employees who managed to hold on to their jobs, regular company-wide days that are referred to as days of rest have gone bye-bye. Another change to the Twitter culture in the new Elon Musk world. Days of rest were implemented in 2020 during the pandemic to encourage employees to avoid burnout. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Stock futures higher on Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell. Dow futures up 215 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
My name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold, the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Introducing Vinia, a miracle superfood from the Holy Land. Enjoy the health benefits of a bottle of red wine minus the alcohol, sugar, and calories. A clinical trial demonstrated that Vinia significantly increased dilation of arteries, which enhances blood flow and delivery of oxygen to your body, improving physical energy and mental alertness. Take a little wine for your health's sake with Vinia. Order your Vinia today and get 10% off using Salem10 at vinia.com/Salem or call 800-450-8503. Vinia, better blood flow, better life.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Picking up some slow traffic eastbound 64, 270 through Ballast. There's a crash at the top of the ramp from northbound 270 to eastbound 64 that has that partly blocked, and that's what's slowing that traffic down. Our other trouble spot this morning is 270 southbound before Tesson Ferry. They've got a crash blocking the 2 left lanes. We're also slow 270 westbound from New Halls Ferry to Washington Elizabeth. They've got a new shift in the construction, and it's the left lane that's closed there this morning. I'm Joe Sonderman. That's the very latest from the News Talk STL Traffic Center, sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. Another really mild to warm day for Friday, and windy too. Low of 63 and a high of 80. The record is 82 from 1978. Close to the record, and the winds really start cranking Friday night into Saturday morning. Gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Want to tie down those loose objects Friday night before you head to bed. This is going to come with some rain Friday night, overnight, and early Saturday. Rain moves out for Saturday afternoon with a high of 62, a cooler, breezy day. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Whether at home or at work, you're mobile. So when you're mobile, stay mobile. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at NewstalkSTL.com. Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin God.
As much as they want to avoid it, the left does not have a choice but to be held accountable when it comes to violent crime and all the areas where only the left has an influence on public policy. It is absolutely a national conversation, but the reality is where this is happening. Yes, it's happening everywhere. It's not just happening in big cities, but when you look at where most of the damage is being done, it's in the areas that are the deepest blue. Interesting article that is posted at cnsnews.com, and the headline is very simple. The real reason the left can't, that's the operative word, can't deal with crime. It is written by Ken Davis, and Ken is a former Deputy Attorney General for the Commonwealth of Virginia, and his book, if you want to look it up, is called Revolution, A Call to Turn Back the Lawless Left and Restore the Promise of America. And Ken joins us again right now. Ken, good to chat with you again. Appreciate you being on the program.
Well, good morning, Mike, and I'm glad to be here. This is an important topic.
I want to focus in on my first kind of question into this conversation. The operative word being the left can't deal with crime, and we may say, well, we don't like the way they deal with crime, but you say, no, they're not even capable of dealing with this effectively. What do you mean by they can't deal with crime?
Well, that is the heart of it. I mean, we see their disgraceful behavior and non-response to crime all the time, where they fail to condemn progressives, left Democrats fail to condemn the lawless behavior of rioters like in 2020 and other criminals, and where commentators, progressive commentators, airbrush radical rioters as so-called mostly peaceful protesters, liberals in a hurry, and of course the blue state, blue city DAs repeatedly refusing to prosecute even the most hardened repeat offenders. But the real reason for all of this graceful behavior, the real reason the left cannot deal with crime is that they themselves, in their core political beliefs, are themselves fundamentally, essentially lawless. Their philosophy is lawless. I mean, the reason that progressives can't condemn left-wing political radical rioters is that they generally agree with the ultimate political aims of those rioters. The country is systemically racist. Our institutions, like the constitutional separation of powers, the Supreme Court comprised of 9 justices, the moderating filibuster rule in the Senate, all of these things need to be taken down, and along with things like the Electoral College. So they agree. They may make nice talk in election debates and on some of the news programs, but in their hearts, they agree. And it's difficult for progressives to condemn simple, irresponsible criminal behavior because they are committed to a form of government by experts, the Anthony Faucis of the world, highly trained, credentialed, so-called experts, which presumes this governing model, progressive administrative state governing model, presumes at its heart that Americans are incapable of taking individual responsibility for their affairs and incapable of controlling their own behavior. So if you view people generally in all subjects, in all issues, as being non-responsible, then you can't hold criminals responsible for their behavior because no one is. We all have to be cared for, managed, and directed by the experts.
Good morning.
And ultimately...
Sorry, go ahead.
And ultimately, it's difficult for progressives, impossible for progressives to condone the use of unrestrained power by rioters and criminals to obtain the objectives thereafter, when progressives themselves, at the end of the day, and ever since they arose in the 20s, are committed to a form of unconstitutional government that is based on the use of unrestrained political power to obtain political objectives. So they don't view the world as something that is necessarily and appropriately governed by rules that restrain behavior. No, it's all about power. It's all about results. And so, in that fundamental sense, they are lawless. And so that's why we get the gobbledygook from them and the other permissive statements and absurd proposals to defund the police and reimagine public safety as a pursuit of equity and social justice. No, they're lawless.
Good morning, Ken. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So we've heard all of this rhetoric before, and somehow the Democrats keep managing to win majorities in various pockets around the country. Do you think their voters are in the true believer camp in that they actually believe in this ideology, or are they in the cynical camp who they understand where they're going, they just have a different goal than the rest of America?
Well, I think some are true believers. I mean, it's a spectrum or a range when you look at any group. There are a lot of different in the particulars, different motivations and inclinations of the members of any group. But when you look at the people who support progressive Democrats in elected office and work to advance their policies, there is this general set of beliefs that when you compare it to the principles and the institutions upon which this country was founded, including, very importantly, constitutional government with its separation of powers and limitations on central government power, there is a general dislike of that and a general commitment to further the work of a centralized government comprised of technocrats, unaccountable, unelected technocrats, advancing an agenda that is non-traditional in its cultural aspects and, quite frankly, socialist in its economic policies.
Hey, Ken, I've just got a minute or so left here. We're visiting with Ken Davis. You can see his article, The Real Reason the Left Can't Deal with Crime, at cnsnews.com. Survey after survey after survey says violent crime and a lack of safety is one of the top issues for voters at this point in our history. Why is it that they're not even motivated by that? When you're given all the ideological reasons that you've just laid out, why doesn't that even scare the left? I mean, if you were talking the talk, but overall, they've got to know they're out of step with the typical American.
Well, I expect many of them do, but I think the power of, call it the base, within the Democratic Party is so strong. The left, radical, really revolutionary, take it all down because it's all systemically racist and corrupt. That core, radical core, is so strong that people, Democratic officials who might otherwise be inclined to try to address the public's legitimate concerns about crime can't, because they know they'll be primaried and attacked and run out of their respective offices. They can't. The ones who within the Democrat Party who understand these issues and would like to deal with them can't, and the ones the driving, defining radical force in the Democrat Party doesn't want to. There's nothing wrong with disorder to a revolutionary, because if you run down the institutions of public law and order and destroy civil society through the continuing presence of disorder, then you are advancing the cause of revolutionary change in society. So it's a mix of people who are quite happy to see the disorder continue to destroy things and undermine things and wreck things, and those who are knowledgeable but unable or unwilling to buck the defining force, the radical left defining force that runs the Democrat Party today.
All right. The book is called Revolution, A Call to Turn Back the Lawless Left and Restore the Promise of America, written by Ken Davis. And you can find his latest article at cnsnews.com, and we've linked it on our social media as well. Ken, appreciate the insight and giving us that perspective. We will talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
All right, just ahead here, let's get a quick look at what you need to know as you're heading into work today. Got that news roundup. And then at 8:35, some really hardcore left-wing people said some really stupid things. And I'm going to play those sound bites for you, and then we're going to mock them incessantly as we prepare for Vic Porcelli to take over the airwaves here. How's that for a tease, guys?
Happy Friday.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on Newstalk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
On southbound 270 north of 21, we've got a crash blocking the two left lanes, so traffic is backed up near Gravois. The northbound side is busy, but it's moving. Tesson Ferry up through Gravois has some slow pockets. Then it looks pretty good up through Manchester. Now we've got a crash 64 eastbound. It's where the ramp from north 270 comes on, so that's slowing things a little bit as you come towards Ballas. Westbound 270, we are jammed up most of the way now from New Halls Ferry through Washington, Elizabeth, and 170 due to the construction work and the lane shifts. This report sponsored by Blindster.com. I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Ben Brown is the unwavering fighter Missouri families need in the state Senate. A local restaurant owner, Ben Brown fought against unconstitutional COVID mandates and won. Ben Brown received the NRA's highest rating for his commitment to protecting the Second Amendment. Ben Brown is the only candidate endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police because he proudly stands with our law enforcement officers. And Ben Brown is endorsed by Missouri Right to Life. He will always defend the unborn. November 8th, vote Ben Brown, the true conservative choice for state Senate.
Hi, I'm Ben Brown, conservative fighter for state Senate. Career politicians have done everything they could to tear our nation apart. Now our shelves are empty, businesses can't find workers, gas prices are ridiculous, and we're less safe than ever. It's time to set things right. I've faced down violent opponents in the cage and defeated liberal tyrants in the courts. Now I'm ready to fight for our families and our freedoms in the state Senate. I'm Ben Brown, and I'm asking for your vote. Paid for by Ben Brown from Missouri, Tim Miller, Treasurer.
The Rob Carter Show.
AOC is supposed to be one of those progressives that is against war and for the environment. Yet she continues to sign bills that sends billions and billions of dollars over to Ukraine that nobody can follow where that money's going. All we know is that our interest rates are going up. Inflation is through the roof. They brought down the gas prices for the election, which they do every election season if you haven't been paying attention.
The Rob Carter Show. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
Fox News commentary.
Elon and AOC are in a bit of a tiff again, and hang on to your hats, folks. I'm taking AOC's side on this one. I'm Tommy Lahren. Find out next.
Hi, I'm Lisa Booth for Bishop Gold Group. Are you worried about your financial future as retirement gets closer? All over the country, soon-to-be retirees are fearing for their financial future as markets remain volatile. Bishop Gold Group helps you invest in gold and gold IRAs to protect your wealth and retirement during times of high inflation and wild swings in the market. Secure your future today. Contact Bishop Gold Group by dialing pound 250 from a mobile phone and say the keyword Bishop Gold, or visit bishopgoldgroup.com.
The jury is still out on Elon's Twitter. Will it be more fair, balanced, transparent? We'll see. But one thing it may not be is free. Elon is toying with the idea of charging verified users $8 per month, and this concept didn't sit well with many users, including New York Congresswoman AOC, who tweeted LMAO at a billionaire, earnestly trying to sell people on the idea that free speech is actually an $8 per month subscription plan, to which Elon replied, "Your feedback is appreciated. Now pay $8. He also reminded her that she sells a $58 hoodie on her website that reads "Tax the Rich." Now listen, folks, I don't think think I've ever taken AOC's side on anything, but I will on this one, because there is no way on God's green earth I'm going to pay for my blue check mark on Twitter. Even the other conservative throttling social platforms have committed themselves to being a free service and even pay their top creators. Elon, if you have people like me agreeing with AOC, you should reconsider. I'm Tommy Lahren.
The midterm election. Decision 22 News.
It's going to put some pressure on all of us to up our game.
Decision 22 Analysis.
A midterm election route.
Decision 22 Opinion.
You're going in for a problem.
Decision 2022 happens on News Talk STL. St. Louis's home of Decision 2022. Complete election results, analysis, and opinion. Beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, here we go. Last minute campaigning about to pick up with a lot of fervor. I have not had any door knockers at my house yet, and very few campaign flyers, but I've got a feeling that's going to change this weekend. You've got party leaders on a national level crisscrossing the country to help out, specific candidates where the races are considered to be very tight. Fox News' Jessica Rosenthal has an update for us.
Former President Trump is heading to Pennsylvania Saturday to campaign with Republican Senate candidate Dr. Oz and candidate for Governor Doug Mastriano. Then he'll head to Ohio, where polls show a tight race between the Democratic Senate candidate Tim Ryan and Republican J.D. Vance. Vance told the Fox News Rundown podcast last month,
Donald Trump was supposed to lose to Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump was supposed to lose to Joe Biden. Of course, he won. So I'm highly skeptical of the media narrative that this race is super close.
While President Biden has gone to Florida and New Mexico, former President Obama's been campaigning in Georgia, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Both will be in Pennsylvania this weekend as well to boost Senate candidate John Fetterman and Josh Shapiro for governor. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Hey, Gabe, you heard about the guy who threatened to assassinate Darren Bailey, right?
Wait, what?
You didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah, see, Ken didn't hear about that.
See, I didn't hear about it either, no.
Yeah, so a 21-year-old man named Scott Lennox has been arrested after leaving a voicemail to Darren Bailey's office threatening to kill him and torture him and his family in a particularly brutal way.
Okay. That didn't make the news?
Well, it made a couple of stations in news in Chicago. But I didn't see it on any national news, and I didn't see it in any of my news feeds, and I have a pretty comprehensive news feed. It just didn't make a lot of headlines.
So a legit threat to a major political candidate just kind of right under the radar.
Yeah, bail was set at $75,000, and so the prosecutor in the case says Scott Lennox, again 21 years old, was with friends at a bar when a political ad aired on TV for Darren Bailey and made him really mad. And he got in an argument with somebody about Darren Bailey, and then he called Bailey's office in Springfield and said, and I'm going to quote most of the words, "I'm going to skin Darren Bailey alive, making sure he's still alive, and I'm going to feed his effing family to him as he is alive," and screaming in something pain. "He is a piece of white something, racist something, and honestly, if he doesn't kill himself, I will. You know what? I know where he lives." This is where it gets very specific. "I know where he sleeps. I know where his kids sleep. And I know the something school he works at," is what was all on the voicemail that this idiot left. So he's been arrested. Obviously a crazy person. You mix in some alcohol, you got a very bad combination. But the fact that you guys do this professionally, and I knew that you didn't know about it because I saw it pop up on one of the conservative websites, and I traced back to the original sources, and I didn't know it either. We are 4 days from the election, and one of the candidates had his family and him threatened that we didn't know about.
A major, I mean, like this isn't a random threat as you see on Twitter or something like that. It's like, hey, F and die or something like that, which will get you banned or whatever. This was a very specific and brutal sounding threat, like from a credible threat
from a guy who watches way too many horror movies.
And this is a perfect example, and I would argue actual proof that the mainstream media is in the propaganda wing section of the Democrat Party, because if it were, we're 4 days away from the election, and if it were on the other side, they'd be 24/7 talking about it.
Well, we kind of saw that, didn't we? Where somebody got hurt on who happened to be related to a Democrat, and all of a sudden it's the right's fault. It's mega MAGA attacking people in their homes.
Yeah, not just MAGA though. Mega MAGA.
Yes, mega ultra super MAGA. Mega ultra super 30% off.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me, why is your handle that way? I said, because Joe named me. I wouldn't have done it, but he did.
They keep adding more superlatives. I like it.
So the reality is that this guy's probably going to, cop to some lower thing,
Sure.
and mental illness will be a factor and all that kind of stuff. But the fact is, something that specific was there. And to the credit of a couple media outlets in Chicago, they covered it, but it didn't go anywhere. It didn't spread anywhere.
That's amazing to me.
It is.
Well, and I am glad, however, that they actually had bail for him. They set bail for him.
$75,000.
So he actually went into jail as opposed to a lot of these guys who were just kind of let out.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, could I mention something about you talking about spreading a message? I just saw this. Jason Bateman tells Biden to use emergency alert system to urge Americans to vote because the democracy is under existential threat from Republicans.
Yeah. Use the presidential alert that you can have the president pop up anything on your phone at any time.
So literally use government infrastructure to campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Precisely.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, why not? Whatever.
Just spread that message. That's what we were just talking about, spreading the message.
Weren't we just talking about Democrat lawlessness?
Right.
It's like,
Doesn't apply to that.
Yeah.
All right. In some other news, the Blues are... let's talk about something else.
You had to bring that up. I was going to say, don't bring that up.
Let's talk about something a little more fun than that. How about outstanding warrants in court? That sounds like that's more fun than talking about the Blues right now.
Yeah.
As of today, St. Louis County courts have a new program called Fresh Start Fridays. So if you have an outstanding warrant, like you didn't pay that ticket or you didn't show up to the court or something nonviolent, starting at 1 o'clock, you can video chat in and get another court date, or you can work it out with them. At 2 o'clock, you can contact them, video chat or on the phone if you owe them money for some fine or penalty or something, and you want to avoid, another warrant or something like that. So go to the St. Louis County court website and you will get more information on that.
I like that.
Yeah, World Series last night, because they said, well, a lot of people who have outstanding warrants, they don't want to go to the courthouse to take care of the warrant because they're afraid they're going to get cuffed and stuffed. Yeah. Astros take Game 5 of the World Series last night. Final score in Philadelphia was 3-2. Today's a travel day for the World Series. The series returns tomorrow in Houston. It is do or die for the Philadelphia Phillies. Houston now up 3-2, and the Blues lost their 6th straight game. This is getting
you had to say
really bad.
You had to say
really bad. Islanders beat them 5-2 last night in Enterprise. 6 losses. It's early in the season. Okay, it's early in the season. I get that.
Are they just getting it out of their system? It's like,
yeah, they're going to have all wins from now on.
We're going to go on a run.
Because right now, when you say, are they getting it out of your system? I'm like, yeah, in the way I'm thinking of get it out of your system, just, once you're done getting this out of your system, stand up, put your pads on, and get back on the ice, because they are getting rid of it in a very smelly way. This is awful. Oh, my goodness. All right, 314-912-1019. Just ahead here, some of our favorite personalities on the left never fail. Do they disappoint us, or do they make us happy when they say such stupid things? I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of it. 2 golden leftist sound bites from national television are going to make the way into your ears here in a few minutes. And we'll get your thoughts on that. And
go, Jerry, go!
That's right. We'll mock it incessantly right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Complete Decision 22 election night coverage beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com. St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
What citizen wouldn't want to make America great again?
Live and local.
And their leadership has been substandard.
I think the word substandard is immensely polite.
This is News Talk STL.
From the News Talk STL newsroom, I'm Joey Vasovich.
Lambert Airport's governing body on Wednesday took steps towards taking on $150 million in additional debt for capital projects at the facility. One project is a $60 million redevelopment of the baggage claim in Terminal 2. St. Louis County Municipal Court is launching a new program called Fresh Start Fridays to help people with outstanding warrants. St. Louis County officials said this new program will allow people with warrants for nonviolent offenses or court payment problems to deal with them virtually via a video chat every Friday. UPS plans to hire around 2,000 seasonal employees in the St. Louis area during its annual UPS Brown Friday hiring events this weekend. The St. Louis and Earth City UPS locations are looking for people to serve as warehouse workers, seasonal drivers, private vehicle drivers, and more. And in sports, the Blues fell to the Islanders 5-2 last night at Enterprise. The Blues have lost 6 straight games in regulation for the first time since February of 2018. Next up, the Blues head to Boston to face the Bruins on Monday night. Puck drop is at 6 p.m. Stifel, the St. Louis-based wealth management investment banking company, has struck a sponsorship deal with U.S. Ski and Snowboard. The deal calls for Stifel to become the title sponsor of what will be renamed the Stifel U.S. Alpine Team. For in-depth coverage of these stories and more, go to NewstalkSTL.com.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
On southbound 270 before Tesson Ferry, they're just about to clear a crash, but they had the 2 left lanes closed, so you're slow back to Gravois. 270 westbound is pretty busy. West Florissant to Washington Elizabeth, we've already got the left lane closed in the work zone there, and then the right lane is closed at 170. They're clearing a fender bender at the top of the ramp from northbound 270 to eastbound 64. Just a little caution called for there, no major delay. This report's sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton with your first alert forecast. Another really mild to warm day for Friday and windy too. Low of 63 and a high of 80. The record is 82 from 1978. Close to the record, and the winds really start cranking Friday night into Saturday morning. Gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Want to tie down those loose objects Friday night before you head to bed. This is going to come with some rain Friday night, overnight, and early Saturday. Rain moves out for Saturday afternoon with a high of 62, a cooler, breezy day. That's the latest first alert forecast. I'm News 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Open enrollment for anyone covered by Affordable Care Act is now open through January 15th.
So now is the time to act.
Hi, this is Mike Butts with MB Health Insurance Agency. And regardless if you are new or renewing your health insurance, the process can be confusing and very time-consuming. MB Health is local here in St. Louis, and we will handle your enrollment quickly, properly, and effectively.
Call Mike Butts and his expert team at 314-544-5400
or visit mbhealth.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Alan Link, owner of the Dental Link. You've heard ads about teeth in a day, but did you know that you will be chewing on plastic, acrylic teeth? Here at the Dental Link, we can give you porcelain crown and bridge teeth utilizing mini dental implants that function much more like real teeth at about half the cost. Plus, mini dental implants are less invasive, less painful, and your recovery time is much shorter. Give us a call at 314-794-6464 or simply visit us today at thedentallink.com.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. I love to grill and definitely prefer using charcoal over gas. And ever since I met Jonathan Heslop and he introduced me to his product, Rockwood Lump Charcoal, I can't use anything else. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory and has been the nationally highest consumer-ranked charcoal for several years. So you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. Doesn't get any better than that. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows.
Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Columbo and Katie, Jones and Arps.
Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble.
Subscribe and watch
News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
Just a real quick update on that news story I brought to you yesterday. 5 days ago, an Egyptian cobra escaped from its owners, or it was taken from a Venom Fest meeting. Just a quick update. It's still on the loose. Sleep tight, Lincoln County.
Lincoln County, that is.
Yes. Or wherever an Egyptian cobra could get from Lincoln County at this point.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, in 5 days.
Yikes.
So there you go.
The big yikes.
There's a possibly an Egyptian cobra in eastern Missouri. Let's
somewhere.
Put it that way. Now,
watch your pets.
Now, here's the thing: is that as cold as it could get in a few days, it's unlikely an Egyptian cobra is going to survive something really cold at night. So there's that. But otherwise, if you are walking somewhere and you see a cobra, you'll know what's going on. It's 8:38. I'm Mike Ferguson.
A little distinctive there.
Gabe Pfeiffer and
is that a stick?
Ken Williams here. No, it's moving. Why is it standing up like that?
Oh boy!
Goodness. And by the way, this is not a defense. This is an actual fully loaded, weapon of war Egyptian cobra that's out there.
Yes, these are kind of little WMDs here.
Yes, they are. Because we had a Venom festival that was in the area. Okay,
fun with venomous snakes.
Whatever.
Fun with venom.
What do you do when you notice that your Egyptian cobra is gone? Are you like?
You're looking under.
I just saw it. It was right here. I mean, where are my keys? Where's my cobra?
I'll tell you right now. As a former snake owner,
yes,
I had a ball python that was about 5.5 feet long when I had to get rid of him. But he was awesome, and he got through things. He got in and out of things that you just never thought would happen. So snakes do that. That's just the way they are.
Which is why you don't keep Egyptian cobras around.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah. Or you at least have them under lock. If you have it locked down, you're all right. But otherwise, don't rely on that.
I mean, you can't call them. I mean, it's not like, if I can't find the cat, I'm like, hey, Rosie, I got food for you. Where's come get your treat.
Come here, Cobra.
Or what? Yeah,
Cuddles.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Cuddles the Cobra.
That's right.
Cuddles. Cuddles.
Fluffy.
Cuddles.
Fluffy the Cobra.
Jeez. Okay, so the pinnacle of political discourse and enlightenment we all know is The View. Was having a conversation about the upcoming midterm elections on yesterday's program, and United States thought leader Sunny Hostin has some perspectives on this, and here's what she had to say.
Wait a minute, before you play that, I just want all the Republican white women,
suburban
Republican white women to pay special attention
because she's talking to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what she had to say.
I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Why?
It's almost like roaches voting for Raid, right?
I think they're voting against
their own self-interest. Do they want to live in Gilead?
Okay, so do we live
in the
Okay, I can't take it. Okay, that's
yeah, that's the level of discourse we're talking about.
That's the View right there. Yeah, once again, let's hear that again. Here's what basically The View is. Yeah,
this is Sunny Hostin, and here's the audience.
Yeah, and the other panelists on the show there. Okay, first of all, Republican white suburban women are going to vote Republican because they're Republican women.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
You messed that up. First of all, second, Gilead. Really?
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I
Handmaid's Tale.
Honestly, I think leftists live in a fantasy world, so all of their analogies kind of come from everybody's part of Dumbledore's army. They think they're fighting against Mordor or whatever. I don't know. Everybody thinks this. We're the good guys. It's like, guys, okay, let's stay in the fantasy world. You guys are the Empire. You run everything. You run the government, almost every aspect of the government. You run entertainment. You run news stations. You run education. You're the Empire. You're not resisting anything.
No. They like to do that, though. They like to make the person that we were talking about earlier, who doesn't pay close attention, to think that's where their position is. Though
it's like, yeah, we're resisting fascism, and they're going to take over, and they're going. How did Biden put it? They're going to put y'all back in chains.
Yep.
Sonny Austin.
No, he's going to put you back in chains. They're going to put you back in chains.
That's true. And
I'm fine.
In this room, it would be
my
you.
white privilege helps me out on this.
Yeah, because I can't figure out how to use a computer to get an ID to vote.
Right.
So obviously, I'm going to get put back in chains. And then of course, Sonny Austin says that all those crazy Republican suburban women are going to vote for the raid can.
Well, not only that, but I think there's a little racism there because she was saying that white women are roaches or something like that.
Yeah, y'all are roaches. We're all. Everyone in this room is married to a suburban white woman.
Yes.
And I guarantee you they're not roaches and they would not put up with that type of talk.
My wife's going to have some choice words about this. I'm going to hear it. She's listening now, actually, probably. So she's like,
hi, Janet.
She said, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is that wasn't even the dumbest thing said on television yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's more?
NBC has a resident presidential historian. His name is Michael Beschloss. And he was on that other pinnacle of thought and discourse known as MSNBC. And he is very concerned at the Republican momentum, or at least perceived momentum, when it comes to the upcoming midterms. And you will not believe what is at stake. What could happen if Republicans win back more control over the government?
And a historian 50 years from now, if historians are allowed to write in this country, and if there are still free publishing houses and a free press, which I'm not certain of, but if that is true, a historian will say what was at stake tonight and this week was the fact whether we will be a democracy in the future, whether our children will be arrested and conceivably killed. We're on the edge of a brutal authoritarian system, and it could be a week away.
So we've gone from you're trying to cut Social Security and Medicare to you want to seize and kill our children.
Won't anyone think of the children?
Yeah. That's what the left is known for. We got a thing here at the stage called Etztoid. Everything they say, the opposite is true.
That's the Porcelli principle.
That's the Porcelli's principle. And that's exactly what should be applied here because everything he just said is what the Democrats are doing.
Well, I don't think they want to seize and kill our children. Let me just be on the record as saying I don't think they want to do that.
No, but not yet.
After they're born.
Not yet.
After they're born.
They want to be able to kill their own children.
Yeah, before they're born. But after they're born, I don't think they want to seize and kill children. But they actually said this.
Well, I don't know. Public schools.
Killing their ambition.
There you go. Yeah, that's close.
Reassignment surgery.
Kill future generations that way.
Yeah. So, but the weird part was you're looking at this. It was a split screen on MSNBC, and I forget the guy's name. The anchor who's like that super nerdy looking guy with the weird nerd glasses. That guy.
They all look the same.
That guy.
And they are staring at this, and they have that look on their face that says this is such a serious matter. You have to take me seriously. They had that just look of.
Is it the serious crinkle? Is the crinkle
total crinkle between the eyebrows?
Yeah. It's like
I mean, it was. This is such a crucial moment, and you have to take me seriously because I'm a serious person, and they want to seize and kill your children.
If he was a dog, he would be doing him a concern.
Yes, they are,
as they say on the internet.
They are virtually saying anything to win because their backs are against the wall. They know they don't have the policies. They know that they're going to be getting their butts handed to them, and they're bringing out Obama.
Mike, you've got a trademark phrase for this, don't you? Like what this period of time just before the election is, don't you? You have the was it the leftist hyperbole season?
Yes, I think I'm gonna trademark that leftist hyperbole season. Trademark.
Yes,
I said it here first.
Yes, I think that's entirely true because all they're going to do is basically run around like their hair's on fire. Oh no, the fascists are coming! The fascists are coming! But they're just. Yeah. They're the sky is falling chicken. That's what they are.
And I've heard it before. I've heard that type of behavior before, but never to this degree.
And we got some fringy folks on our side who engage in the hyperbole. I think I can address this with some integrity because I'm like, listen, conservatives, stop comparing your political opponents to Nazis.
Yeah.
Hey, leftists, stop saying that we're gonna seize and control or kill your children. All this sort of thing with fascism and everything. So just for our leftist friends out there, to my fellow conservatives and libertarians, stop seizing and killing their children, okay? There.
Okay, yeah.
Done.
That was good.
We took care of it. All right, it is 8:47. 314-912-1019. Hey, which races are really got you fired up for this upcoming election? We got a few minutes to talk about that before Vic gets here on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Traffic Center.
Doing quite a bit better. We have a crash on southbound 270 north of Tesson Ferry, but they've moved it off to the right side, so that's thinned out. Also watch for one at the top of the ramp from 270 onto eastbound 64. They've got the right side of the ramp partly closed with emergency vehicles. Eastbound 64 does slow just a little bit for a look at it. We're heavy westbound 270 from West Florissant headed into the construction zone at Washington Elizabeth. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com, and I'm Joe Sonderman from the News Talk STL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Columbo and Katie.
Gabe Pfeiffer joins me on Friday, and we'll talk to Florissant Mayor Tim Lowry, get the weekend forecast from Steve Tibbleton, and have a little Friday fun time with Brian Stoll from your St. Louis Battlehawks.
Weekdays at 2
on News Talk STL.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is a locally owned and operated family business for more than 28 years, featuring exclusive products, unbeatable prices, and expert installation. You can choose from a wide variety of flooring options, including carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, plus many other options. And you'll gain a peace of mind knowing that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's. You can shop in-store at one of their 3 convenient locations or shop from home online. Check out everything Michael's Flooring has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Paul Cook for our free water store in Chesterfield. Dude, our water is dead. Find out what living water is. It could be one of the best things you ever do for your health and for your family too. It is for me. This water has helped millions of people all over the world supercharge their cells. Experience it for free over and over again. Walk in there at the corner of Woods Mill and Olive, our free water store. Discover true health today.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Complete Decision 2022.
2022.
Election night coverage.
2022 midterms.
Beginning Tuesday night at 7.
I feel the enthusiasm. I think the Democrats are going to be shocked.
On 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. St. Louis's home of Decision 2022. Complete election results, analysis, and opinion. Beginning Tuesday night at 7 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
And speaking of the elections, on Monday, we're going to go through some of the biggest races that we're deciding at the upcoming elections, and we're going to tell you where we stand on them. I have kept who I'm voting for and what I'm voting for kind of to myself to allow as much discussion as possible. But we're going to tell you where we stand on these things on Monday. If you agree with us or you disagree with us, love to have that conversation on Monday's program. It is 8:51. By the way, during the commercial break, nobody here seized and killed any children, right?
Yeah, right.
No,
yeah.
I tried. I just abstained.
Well, I came close.
Not again, Gabe.
I'm sorry.
Dang it.
I'm sorry.
I abstained this time.
God's sake.
A few.
Did you, Vic, on the way in?
Just a few.
Well, I do set a goal every day of to not die and to not kill anybody, and usually I'm successful.
That's right.
He's got a good batting average, is what he's saying.
I just want to say good morning, roaches and gentlemen.
Yeah, no kidding.
And children of all ages. She's disgusting. That whole show is disgusting.
Have you voted for your raid can today?
She's disgusting.
If it weren't for them saying stupid things, would people really know about them? Because I have a feeling that we play into their hands, we being conservative media, by highlighting the stupidity that comes out of that show.
I think we got to let people know they're idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I looked up this morning, I looked up the number that they get as of October 2022. They average about 2.1 million views a day.
That's actually fairly respectable. That's from
for a daytime
show, that's actually a pretty good rating.
Don Lemon's debut was a big disaster.
Oh, that's what I'm
morning
hearing.
Show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
300,000 viewers.
Really? On CNN?
Yeah, 2554.
Yeah, which is the key.
That's the key demo.
That's what
the
matters.
Key demo.
Well, and Shepard Smith's show got canceled.
Did it?
Yep.
On CNBC?
Yep.
Wow!
Yep. He's done.
So the libs can't even take him. Holy cow.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
So that was a quietly sort of let up. But yeah, I found that early this morning. Shepard Smith's gone. He's got plenty of creds in the business with industry people. He'll be fine. He'll land.
But who's
somewhere.
he going to blame now? That's my point.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he can always go to CNN Plus.
Right?
No,
Yeah.
you can't go to
Oh, you can't
CNN
do CNN Plus.
No,
CNN
never
Plus
mind.
doesn't.
Never mind. Now he'll land somewhere. He'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yeah. Now, as much as I resent the leftist media control, I don't want them to completely go away because they do a lot of our prep for our content. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like oh wow, they said something really dumb there. I'm going to talk about that on the radio.
You guys know the Stephen Colbert story, right?
No.
This is probably what Ken was telling me earlier.
Today.
Well, okay.
Some lady said that her son or her daughter said something, and Stephen was like, okay, that never happened. He never said that, which is so easy to do, right? These women who get on social media go, my 3-year-old yesterday was talking about the Pythagorean theorem.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You know? So anyway,
I was literally shaking.
The Detroit Free Press said, oh, sorry, Stephen, you're wrong. She did say that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So there you go, Gabe. That's your theory right there.
Yeah, there it is.
They got to be around for us to make fun of.
Exactly.
Yeah, precisely. And then I still amazed that anybody would watch The View, and it's not even just because I disagree with them. I mean, there are Republican roundtable shows as well,
Sure.
Conservative ones as well. I shouldn't say just Republican, but conservative ones. But if all they did was yell over the top of each other, I couldn't stand the McLaughlin group when that was on because that's what they did is just yell over the top of each other. If there were liberals who sat there and took turns, I mean, if they did what maybe Bill Maher does, even though he's a liberal, people get to have their say, and then he makes fun of it, makes wisecracks or debates or argues. That's fine, but they literally just squawk at each other. That's all they do.
Ken, what does The View sound like? Like, what's the best encapsulation of The View? Is the way it sounds.
Yeah.
Right. It's amazing to me that a show like that doesn't have a consultant who says, hey, you're all talking at the same time, can't hear anybody.
Right. Yeah. Right. I can't stand those shows.
I've seen better run podcasts. I have.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen better run podcast shows.
I mean, can you imagine if we tried that here? Our boss is in the next room. He would come and just slap us upside the head.
Well,
if we tried the same formatting that this national show with 2 million viewers does.
Well, as per the Jeff Allen style of business consulting, he would very much.
I don't think that's the case. Well, I don't understand. Why are you doing that? No,
because if Jeff heard us doing these things, he would come. But Jeff would come in and he would politely eviscerate us for having done something so bad.
I don't know how politely it would be. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I can't imagine. Could you imagine working on that show? Like, I've seen people go on the show. Like, I saw Ted Cruz go on the show not too long ago. I'm like, how do you do it?
I don't know why he did that.
I would flip the freaking table after one of these broads just jumped on top of me the way she often did.
Judge Janine and Whoopi literally almost went at it.
Yeah.
You know?
I was like, what's going on
I mean, when they tried to get Ron DeSantis on, he published their invitation letter, and then his team's response were all of the horrible things that they attacked him over and what they said. And they're like, these are the people you want to talk to? No, thank you. When I saw that Ted Cruz was going on, I'm like,
why?
I think Ted Cruz is a very strategic guy and a brilliant guy, but I'm like, I don't get that. Why waste your time?
Why try to appeal to 2.1 million other, gobbly heads?
But no,
yeah, I mean, because you're not going to be talking to Republican women,
no,
because they're not watching that show.
You're not hearing
they're roaches anyway. Yeah.
Because you know that when you start to win after 3, 4, or 4 words, you're just going to get shouted down.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's why I'm like, there's really no point. I mean, you're probably doing better off for just letting them, insult you in your absence, and so people can Google search you. You're probably doing better that way.
Now, unless the whole point was to create enough buzz to have stuff to talk about later. Like maybe he was basically just like, let me generate some view garbage so then we can talk about view garbage, and then maybe I could raise some money off of view garbage.
Yeah.
Like maybe that was that was the strategy there.
And I love when somebody, even Colbert, when they tell a joke and everybody claps, right?
Yeah, they don't laugh.
Exactly. Clapping is different than laughter.
Right.
That's an applause sign.
Because they've got the big sign that turns on, yeah. All right, can give me a synopsis of the upcoming show in 15 seconds.
Well, Jay Ashcroft, Secretary of State, is going to join us, and we got to talk to him about some early shenanigans going on in St. Louis.
Okay.
Already.
That's coming up starting at about 9:04 when the Vic Porcelli Show takes over right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Watch out for Egyptian cobras, everybody.
I'm Ryan Higgins, and I approve this message. Our state needs fresh faces in government. That's why I'm running for state representative, to support and fully fund law enforcement and to give parents a bigger voice in their son and daughter's education. Also, as the son of a small business owner, I will make protecting small business a priority. Finally, and certainly not lastly, I will fight for our middle class that has been hit so hard the past 2 years. I know our future is bright, but the time is now to elect common sense candidates. I'm Ryan Higgins, and I'm running for the state representative from Missouri's 98th House District.
Paid for by Higgins from Missouri. Megan Higgins, Treasurer.
Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks. May 9th, the Family Arena, Progressive Pioneers. Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks live. Reserved seats on sale Friday 10 a.m. at the Carroll House box office at the Family Arena or through Ticketmaster. Don't miss Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks. All right, you feel good tonight?
They're back, cocked and loaded. The Family Arena presents 38 Special with special guests Molly Hatchet and Black Oak, Arkansas. Saturday, November 19th, the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.com. Presented by the Family Arena.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. America's employers kept right on hiring in October.
The Labor Department says employers added 261,000 positions, a sign that the economy remains a mixture of continued job growth and painful inflation. Last month's hiring remained near the pace it has maintained in the 2+ years since the pandemic recession ended. The unemployment rate rose to 3.7% from a 5-decade low of 3.5%.
And that's correspondent Jeremy House. Former President Trump